Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined this evening with my two colleagues, that is Makobura and Miguda. Makobura, how are you doing?
Hey, good evening, I'm doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Nashukuru. Ah, sioni mabaya huku pande yangu. Things are
Mm,
okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Labda
okay.
nyinyi.
Mimi niko vizuri. Miguda, wewe uko vipi?
Hata mimi niko vizuri pande wangu na
Mm.
mambo yako tu mazuri.
Mm.
I hope you are also doing good because you have confirmed.
Yeah, mimi niko salama. Na ni jambo tu, vitu ambazo labda tunaona katika vichwa vya habari, ambapo saa zingine inafanya we kama binadamu unaona kama ile ubinadamu imetutoka, kwa sababu unapata kwamba unajua binadamu ni kiumbe ambao Mungu aliumba tofauti na viumbe vingine, na Mungu aliumba binadamu akaipatia uwezo wa kulinda ama kufanya uamuzi ambao ni bora, lakini kadri muda inazidi kuenda na naona mabadiliko sana, hata kama unapata kwamba wale wanyama wa pori ni kama wanafikiria vyema kutuliko sisi binadamu, kwa sababu unapata zile vitu ambazo sisi tunafanya kama binadamu hazionyeshi heshima kwa binadamu. Ndio maana nakwambia kuna habari labda saa zingine ukipata unapigwa na butua sana sana lakini tunaomba dua na tunaomba Mwenyezi Mungu aturumie ama atusamehe, atupatie hekima pale ambao tumekosea kama nchi, labda kama uongozi ama na watu wake, ili tupate hekima mzuri ambao tunaweza kuwa na binadamu kwa kila mtu, tuone kwamba kila mtu ni binadamu. Jambo ambalo, kwa hivyo nasema hivyo kwa sababu ukiangalia yule kijana mwanabloga wanasema hivyo, ambaye alipotea mpaka leo hajapatikana, na leo tulikuwa kotini. And I want to read for you what the judge said today. And this one he was directing to the advocate that was representing the government. And he said that, I am not interested in your drama. Produce Ndaingui Kinyangia, whether dead or alive. Justice Chacha Mwita tells IG Kanja and DCA Amin Mohammed. That's what he said. And remember, this is somebody's son. This is somebody's brother. You know what family is going through. It is very hard. And one thing that usually will always rest with the state, it is the state to take care of its people. Whether he was abducted or not abducted, it is the responsibility of the state to make sure that the well-being of the people, that they should protect the people. So they should take the responsibility to know or to find out who or where is the person, where is this person is, and maybe carry out investigation, because that is the work of the police, to make sure that you do carry due diligent investigation to find out where is one of the citizens. That is one thing that we will talk about. Again, when we go to Tanzania, it's quite much interesting. I was just following up on the Tundu Lissu case against the state. And I think there was supposed to be a judgment. The judgment was supposed to deliver today. But you know what happened? The case is postponed until further notice. There's no mentioning of the date that you can come. We are coming back on the courts on this. The judge decided to postpone the case until further notice. That is something that is quite also very interesting in East Africa. When we go to Uganda, there's an old man. He's 86 years. He's vying for a parliamentary seat. Na niliona amejichacha anatembea lakini umri imekataa. Inanikumbusha ile wimbo ya anaitwa Kiande, naona huruma, sura ikikataa naomba huruma. So nakwambia tuko yani. Anyway, thank you so much my comrades members, and thank you so much my brothers. Let's go into the discussion. Maybe Makubura, to start with you, based on what the judge Chacha Mwita told the DCI Kanja, the DCI boss and IG Kanja to produce a Kenyan who is missing. What is your take on that?
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think the core mandate of a government, and part of the reason why President William Ruto was elected in 2022 is because he did mention while he was campaigning that things to do with abductions, things to do with killings, which is, no matter the problem, no matter the negative things that have been, the citizens have done. As a government, you're not supposed to kill them, you're not supposed to abduct them, because the core mandate of a government is to protect life and
Yeah.
life of its citizens. And that is part of the reason why the people of Kenya voted for William Samoei Ruto, because during his campaigns, he did mention not once but several times that he was going to protect the lives of the
Yeah.
people of Kenya. Things to do with abduction will never be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Things to do with the killings and Rivayala will never be seen. But I can tell you that
Mm-hmm.
in a record 2 years or so, we've witnessed massive killing, massive abduction, one that, he has actually set a record since we started having presidents. I was just looking at those, the analysis
Mm-hmm.
and the record of numbers, and I did see that he has passed all these among the presidents that we had during
Yeah.
his regime, during
Mm-hmm.
his reign. We've had so many people being arrested, so many people being abducted, so many being killed, and that is contrary to what the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya says. So I think that also tells you that if you see people going for demonstration here and there every day, it is a sign that they're not satisfied that they have a government that can protect their life. It is a sign that the government in place do not care and the life of the people of Kenyans are not safe. And that is
Yeah.
why they're coming out to remind the people in leadership that their life matters. Very
Mm-hmm.
soon it will actually change from, the topic of demonstration or the part of the reason should actually change, and it would be the life of the people of Kenya matters,
Mm-hmm.
because the rate at which we are seeing young people, and especially those who are criticizing, not just criticizing, but I think they're saying the truth of what is happening in government. And
Those
I
who
think
feel they have divergence view with how the government thinks, yeah, like they think their own way.
but I would also say that these gentlemen who are being taken each and every day, these gentlemen are saying the truth. If you remember, for example, the reason why this gentleman Albert was killed. He
Yeah.
was killed because he did mention something that was truly happening in the police force, something that was truly happening in this government. And
Yeah.
of course, just a mere word of writing something on social media cost the
Mm.
life of a father, cost the life of a trained teacher, cost the
Mm.
life of a peasant, cost the life of someone that had really struggled to just
Mm.
get to the point where he got to. And I think that
Okay.
is a painful thing. And if I'm to give my take on what Justice Chacha did, I think
Mm-hmm.
is Justice Chacha is coming out to be a bold judge, a judge
Mm.
that the people of Kenya can really trust in his wisdom and
Mm.
matters of delivering justice. I
Okay.
was just going through the whole session, and I can tell you that he is a professional judge from what I saw, and
Mm.
it is the interest of the people of Kenya. It is
Yeah.
upon the people of Kenya who elected this government, and whoever is working in government, they need to be accountable. They need
Okay.
to be seriously accountable for lives that they have taken. There
Mm.
is no any justification. If you try listen to the council that were
Mm-hmm.
representing the state,
Yeah.
giving stories. These are not time that we need stories. We need
Mm.
the gentleman produced, whether dead or alive, because it is the prerogative, it is the role of the government to protect the lives of these citizens and to protect by all means. People are coming up with divergent opinion. That is what I can say about Justice Chacha's comment, and we still request the government and the relevant authority that they do what is right. If they don't, there's a
Mhm.
possibility that those are issues which will then compile, and there might be reasons why people might go back to the streets again.
Okay.
Remember, the president came out, if you can remember, some few days ago, and he did mention before the people and even the head of other states. If you remember what the president of there's a president who came to Kenya and the same question was asked. And he did say that it will not happen, it shall not happen. Why is it happening? Why is it still going on? So
Okay.
the world is watching, the people of Africa are watching, but more so, the people of Kenya are watching, and they are going to ensure that justice is delivered to every individual, that their lives have been taken, their families have
Mhm.
lost their sons, and we shall stand with the truth as a people.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura, for that. And if you're watching us for the very first time, this is Brother Benson. You can subscribe so that when we are having a conversation like this, you will always be part of that conversation. Migude, let me come to you. As we know that the state has the role to protect the citizen of this country. And for instance, if a Kenyan can just disappear without trace, and yesterday when you were listening to DCI while he was giving his pressure, he said that the gentleman is somebody of interest. If you know where he is, you can let us know. And now the ruling that has been made by Chacha, what is your thought on that?
I would like to give you the brief meaning of the judgment made by Judge Chacha Muita.
Yeah.
Actually, Judge Chacha Muita is one of controversial judges in the country. People like
Mhm.
Odunga and Muita.
Mhm.
He talk about to have body of the blogger, to produce.
Yeah.
That principle developed, it is known as in the legal system, habeas corpus.
Yes.
Habeas corpus was developed in the medieval Latin, and it's a Latin word meaning to have body of, that you must produce that body, either dead or alive. It must be produced. And during
Yeah.
the reign of King Henry II in the United Kingdom, I think
Yes.
around the 18th centuries, the king, by that time we have kings in the United Kingdom, of course, it's up now. So the king usually were detaining people, the subject. So they introduced habeas corpus so that the subjects could be produced in the courts of England, that they have to produce. And that's why in Kenyan context, it was adopted and actually it is enshrined in our
Mhm.
constitution. Article 25 of the Kenyan constitution
Yeah.
talked about the right of a person to be produced before a court. And even Article 51 of the Kenyan constitution talked about the right of a detained person. Even someone who is detained has a right. So if you go to the Criminal Procedure Code, now Section 389
Yes.
issues, High Court can issue directive, and that's what happened today. So yes, issue directive for the authority to produce the blogger, either dead or alive.
Mhm.
And you read it along with the article, Section 389, Article 1. And this was developed by a person by the name William Blackstone. The purpose
Mm.
for it was very relevant even today, because to understand, state sometimes they can detain somebody or they can decide to abduct somebody.
Mhm.
But if you go to court, so
Yeah.
you are right, even whether you are detained or whether you are not known where you are, but you have a right to reproduce. So we want to see the blogger dead or alive. So today he was granted the rights of Article 25
Yeah.
and right of Article 51. But these are rights that belongs to him. Like I say,
Mhm.
the Constitution is an individual rights, not a group right. So those rights are belongs to him. And I believe that the statement by the judge
Yeah.
should be followed the latter by the DCI and the IG.
So in the let's say for example in the event that the order that is given is not honored, or even them not producing the body, or them not appearing in person in courts, in such a scenario, what happens?
They are going to be contempt of court, and they are going to be charged with a different offense, because
Mm,
ignoring a court is also
mm,
another offense. So the better they produce the body, the earlier they produce the body, the better. Because like I still have issues with Matiang because what happened, even though people are you
mm,
know, during the time when people were being abducted that time,
mm.
there was Matiang also was in contempt of court.
Yeah.
Also, how do you believe these people? You want to give him presidency? It can be worse than when he was the just for interior. That's why
Mhm,
we need to be very careful as Kenyans before we settle on one person. We must scrutinize each and every person. Right now, what Kanja is doing right now, and
mhm,
Amin.
mhm,
So next time, Kanja and Amin might rise. People will say, okay, we want Kanja, we want Amin to be the president. Let us not forget that anybody who was in contempt of court,
mhm.
he will not come to lead us because he can do worse than what he did when he was there. That's why I can answer your question by telling you, if they are going to be in contempt of court,
Yeah.
they can be charged differently, but
Mhm.
they will never appear before the court. What happened? Matiang'i never appeared before the court during those times.
But do you think this is a precedent that we've set, especially in our country? Because remember, even during Uhuru administration, there are several occasions that uh, Matiang'i being one of them, the leaders that were given court summon that they did not honor. Remember the case of Miguna, he did not honor. There are so many orders that were issued to then Matiang'i when he was the interior CS, but he did not honor those cases. Then, I mean, honor those summons by the court. Then we forgot about it. He left, he went, came back and worked in America, and now he has come to town, in town, running for a highest office, and we are seeing is gaining too much traction, and people do not question the previous what happened. Honoring of the summons. That is one. Then again, we are also seeing this with now Masengeli did at some point. He asked for, he went to court and pleaded. So this precedent, how can we face it such that people are held accountable? Because it seems that law is being obeyed partially. You only obey it when you do not have powers. But when you are powers, or you have favors from those are within the realm of power, you can decide to do anything you want.
Yeah, I just want to respond to your question. And that question is a bit technical, but you know, when you have said that, like me, I've said before, that I have issues with Matiang'i because when Matiang'i was presiding under the administration of Uhuru Kenyatta, those supporters of Uhuru Kenyatta saw it that it was good for Matiang'i to suppress the opponents of Uhuru Kenyatta. That's
Yes.
why, up to date, they believe in Matiang'i. But those people who are anti-Uhuru Kenyatta were being suppressed, so they cannot laugh with Matiang'i. They are saying that Matiang'i did the wrong thing and should be subjected to court process. Right
Mm-hmm.
now,
Mm-hmm.
the people who are pro-Ruto, actually, they're praising Kanja and
Yeah.
Amin not to appear before court. They are now clapping. But the people who are anti-Ruto, they want these guys to come and face trial. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a two-way traffic whereby the Miguna's fans by that time saw that Miguna was done bad and there was no justice to Miguna. But
Mm-hmm.
the bloggers fans, the bloggers supporters are seeing that they are being mistreated, but the people who are not supporting blogger, they're supporting Kanja. That's why I can say it's a precedent that you have said, a cult in
Mm-hmm.
this country, whereby to me, when you want to apply law, you should apply law holistically without any selection. You should apply law without, irrespective of your status, that whether you are in the CS, whether you are in the DCIO, whether you are in the IG,
Yeah.
you have to face that law, irrespective who is presiding over that administration. Even if Uhuru was presiding,
Yeah.
Matangi ought not to have committed such crimes. Even if right now Uhuru is presiding, Kanja and Amin should not do whatever they're doing. Because you find out that at the end of the day, if you bring Matiang'i, people are having issues with Matiang'i because there are some things which we don't believe that he did right when he was serving as the CS for Interior. Even in the future, if you try to bring Kanja and Douglas, people will say, okay, these guys never appeared before the court. That's fine. I just want to conclude by saying, you talk about justice, but to some extent, the philosophers try to define justice as doing good to your friend and doing evil to your enemies. Could that be the justice, that I can only do good to my friends
Yeah.
while doing evil to my enemies? That's how some philosophers concluded by defining justice. That's why I can conclude by saying, maybe when Matiang'i was subjecting opponents of Uhuru Kenyatta, Uhuru Kenyatta's fans were very happy that they were doing good things.
Yeah.
But right now, when Ruto is subjecting the fans of Matiang'i or the blogger, they are saying Ruto is doing the wrong thing. So to me, to that extent, I have issues with Matiang'i, I have issues with Kanja, and I have issues with Amin. That everybody who did not appear before a court, they abscond those habeas corpus, or they abscond those orders. All of them should not come and lecture Kenyans about justice.
Okay, but now before I invite Makobura, you remember when one of these days, remember immediately the Thursday after demonstration, when the CS for Interior was walking around, at some point he said that we will not honor those, hatutakubali. Do you think this can be a confirmation of what he said, if anything to go by?
CS for Interior is playing politics because it's saying hatutakubali hayo. Kama nani? The question is kama nani? As who? Who are these people is representing? We understand that he's appointee of the president. Is limited to carry out his functions. The police, National Police Service Commission, is independent. So there's no one appointee, because even tomorrow we can appoint another CS. So will they act on the previous order given by Murkomen or on the current order given by, because even Kindiki was there, then it was, this National Police Service Commission is independent. So the statements for the CS, to my view, they're just politically made for them to try to sustain the administration. But the police ought to be independent.
Okay. Okay, Makobura. When now you look at the entire issue, especially when it comes to the precedent that has been set, especially not even obeying the court summon, or even respecting the law, or be the people who are rulers, the people who are law-abiding citizens, you find that sometimes the people who are in power tend to not to obey. For instance, the other day, you are aware when the ruling was made by the High Court concerning the majority leader and minority leader, whereby, based on the finding, it was found that the majority leader, actually, the majority in the parliament are Azimio, and this was pegged on the number of people who voted in terms of the MPs that they brought into the parliament. But since this one came at a time when there was a broad-based government, whereby they've already signed a memorandum of understanding, I can remember in Parliament when they came after the ruling, and how the drama and Junet Mohammed and other people went and brought a presser and said that. Then all of a sudden this quiet and vanished, and as if nothing is going on, knowing very well that they know that they are going against the ruling. And also you are seeing all this with other areas, especially in the positions that we tend not to obey court orders. We only do when we feel like. what of a country maybe, or what is the precedent that I've asked him, what do you think we are setting, not only in the police force, but in other areas that court orders have been ignored, especially with people who are working for state?
Okay, thank you. One thing that we need to acknowledge is that we have three arms of government. We've got the executive, the judiciary, and the
Yeah.
legislative.
Yeah.
More of what is done at the legislative level is of course coming up with laws which are then supposed to be used by the executive to run the government.
Yeah.
But again, the judiciary is supposed to be checking whether the laws made are following the constitution, whether they fall between the constitution of the Republic of Kenya, and again,
Mhm.
they're supposed to ensure that the executive also uses the law as per what the constitution, of course, says. They do what we call how do I put it? I'm forgetting that word.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say is that mostly the reason why we do have a problem in following the laws which have been made by the legislation, the parliaments, which is the body that makes part of the laws,
Mhm.
is because the executive has more.
No,
Because
let me ask you: is it only the executive, or it is across the board, especially in the
it
country?
is
Because
across it is across the board. But remember,
mm,
the buck
mm,
stops with the president. It is the president who is the
mm,
leader of the nation, and
mm,
is supposed to be setting a good example to the people of Kenya. If he sees that things are not working under certain departments, he's
mm,
the one he was given the sword. Remember that sword that he was given comes
mm,
with significance. So it is upon the president to set the president that this is how I want my government to operate, following the constitution,
mm, yeah.
following whatever judgment that has been made by the judiciary.
Mhm.
But the problem that we've been having is most of the laws that have been touching on the
Mm,
executive have been ignoring. And of course, it is them who have brought the bad behavior of not following the judgments and the
mm,
directions by the judiciary. And so it is then passed to the downer level. That is why we are even seeing the police department, we are seeing the DCI department, and all those people not
mm,
following and accepting that the cost as given is direction and it needs to be followed.
yeah.
Something else that we are seeing is that among the political class,
Yeah.
they are also not respecting the constitution. They are also not respecting the rulings and the judgments of the judiciary, whereby I think the Kenyan law is a nice law. We have a good constitution, a constitution that talks about so many things that touches the human kind and how they're
Mm,
supposed to operate. But the
mm,
problem we have is that the leaders that we have, they think they are more superior, they are above the law. This is something that we've always seen. For example, the question that you've just asked, I mean, the example that you just gave about the court saying that the Azimio was supposed to be given them a majority. Remember
mm,
that is something that was just ignored. Another
mhm,
good example that I can give, if you remember the government of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, when the court said that the parliament should be dissolved because
mhm.
it did not really comprise of, did not follow what the constitution talks about, the third rule. And
The
remember,
third gender role,
it was ignored.
even
And
today.
constitutionally, whatever happened under that, was it the 12th parliament? All
Yeah.
those things should be annulled. But where we headed as a country, it has been ignored and things are moving on. So I think what I can say bluntly is that the buck stops with the president because he's the head of state. He's the one that the constitution gives him so much power, and he has the decision to either steer the country in the right direction and ensure that people respect laws and the constitution, But again, he has, the whole liberty to
Mm.
make the laws being followed by the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. If we have a weak president, or we have a president that do not respect the judiciary, do not respect the constitution, do not respect the judgments made by the judiciary, then we cannot go anywhere, and that is the problem that we are having as a country. We've always seen, if I can give you a good example, during the first times of this government,
Yeah.
there's so many laws that they were coming up with, the issues of SHA, and they were not even consulting. And the constitution is very clear. When you're making certain laws, you
Mm-hmm.
need to get to the people, you need to understand their views, you need to get what they want. That was not done. Remember the finance bill? The people were supposed to give their views,
Yeah.
and the people came out and said that we do not want the finance bill. What happened? They forced it and passed it in that parliament there. After passing it, the people then came out to tell them that no, we said we did not want it, but why did you pass it? So remember, they're all then the ball still rolls with the president. It is him to decide that this is the way that we need to go, because he is the head of state. As the head of state, remember, if he sees, and that is why we've always seen him condemn, for example, the National Assembly when they're not
Mm-hmm.
doing right, he has the power to condemn them. If he sees
Mm-hmm.
the judiciary is not doing right, he has the power to condemn them, because he's the one who has the sword, a sword that is not given to the president of the judiciary, a sword that is not given to the speaker of the of the assemblies.
Mm-hmm.
So the bad president has been set by the president, who is the head of the government, and that
Is,
is being followed by junior officials as well.
is it set by the president, or this is something that came all the way from the administration of President William Ruto when we saw
You
the one, or he's just continuing with the bad
you
precedent,
know
especially
you,
when it comes to the honoring of the court summons?
you know what, brother Ben? Suppose you are the president.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just give an example of this media station,
Yeah,
the one that we are, BBM.
yeah.
If you are the president, let's say a term that goes for 2 years, and as the president or as the head, you have your vision of how you want BBM to go,
Mm-hmm.
and even if anybody else has a different opinion, they have to consult you, because you are the person who makes the final decisions. And then within the 2 years that you're supposed to then run as the president, you can set the president of how you want things to be done. And
Mm-hmm.
then when your 2 years has lapsed, when
Mm-hmm.
someone else is coming, you cannot want them to proceed the way you want, the way you are running the channel.
Yeah.
So I think that is a similar thing with running the country. If,
Mm-hmm.
for example, President Uhuru Kenyatta did things which are not right,
Mm-hmm.
it is not justifiable for the president that we have now, William Samoei Ruto, to continue with the bad things that the other president did.
Yeah.
So it is upon him then, depending on how he wants and the vision that he has for the country, depending again on the
Mm-hmm.
promises that he gave the people of Kenya while he was requesting the people of Kenya to give him a chance to lead.
Mm-hmm.
He has to peg all his way of running the government on all those things that he did promise. So
Okay.
if we are seeing a situation where the constitution is not followed, if we are seeing a situation where the bad things which happened in the previous government are still continuing, then it
Mm-hmm.
is a sign that the political class that we have do not really care. They've gotten to a point where they do things that they feel or deem fit to them,
Mm-hmm.
without
Okay.
really respecting the views of the citizens.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura. That is an area that we need to discuss, especially more about it and concerning about the law abiding. When we say that law abiding citizen, who is the citizen? Is it the subject or the rulers? Every time, like, we need to be law abiding citizen is a word that has always been used by majority of our leaders and even now we ourselves. But are we really law abiding? And what does it mean by you being law abiding citizen? Those are some of the questions that we need to have a conversation of, because like you know, when you look at even when you go back, because like there's this issue of bringing up a bill that is going to control or is going to manage the protest, on how people are going to protest. Will that one cure the problem? We have to look at ourselves. What is making us, even if you bring those laws, you know, you can bring as 100, as many of them, and even like come up with bylaws on how to control, but it will not solve the issue. The issue is what we have is not even the law. The issue that we have that is killing us as a country is about the issue of leadership. And the leadership does not only mean that we are looking at the administration of the day, but the leadership, we are looking everywhere, from the opposition to the administration of the day, to the private sector, to when you go to the parliament, when we go to the judiciary, and we go to the people themselves, especially the voters. Are we the leaders that and the good ambassadors of that country? You know, if we can understand that, then we can pull together, you know, and create a good country. So the issue is not about coming up with laws and bills, you know, because you know very well that what sometimes happens, some of these bills that usually comes into parliament, they come when MPs sometimes do not look at the near future. They're not for prosperity. Remember the security bill that was brought immediately after Maraga nullified the election, yeah, but later it came to affect uh, them themselves, you know, affect the people who brought that bill. So sometimes we might bring this bill to favor us, but we're not looking at in prosperity, that in 10 years to come, you know, we just wanting to do for a moment. So those are some of the things that you know, the nitty gritty that we need to discuss as a country. And
Yeah, I wanted to just give you another example of that simply clarifies the fact that things can be done. You know, the role of partly the executive, they're supposed to do what we call enforcing law, and they're supposed to enforce it without fear or contradiction. They have to do it within the law. They have to do it within what the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, says. I can give you a good example. If you remember during the time Fred Okengo Matiang'i, Dr. Fred Matiang'i was in the docket of education. Remember, he came to the docket of education when there was consistent, stealing of exams, and it was being done by cartels. There were a group of people, if you can remember those times, that they would wait for the time of exams, and then people would be sending for their money, and they would be giving the papers that were supposed to be done. Remember when Dr. Matengi came in, he destroyed the whole cartels. Remember when he was giving the directive of all the vehicles are supposed to be painted red, and he did it. He simply came up, the law came and he did enforce. And that's a clarity or a clear example that when laws are enforced, when you have leaders that can enforce the laws, then it is possible to be done. I was actually watching a clip at some point when he had visited a certain school. Where was it? I think it was in Narok, if I'm not wrong. And this school, the parents and the board, they decided to buy a bus costing almost 9 million at a time when the dormitories for this school were at a very pathetic state. And I remember him asking, which one was very important? Is it the health and the lives of the students who come to this school, or having a bus was more important? And I think that was part of what we call delivery and leadership. When you are a leader, you're supposed to be making certain steps, looking at what is more important, and that is what you enforce. And I think
All
that
right.
is a clear example of what it means to enforce laws and to also follow what really is important. It is upon them then, the leaders, to decide whether they want us to continue having a good country that respects the law, because more of what we've always seen is the leadership side are the ones that do not follow the law. I can give you another good example. You've seen instances where Political leaders are, for example, summoned to go and write some statements, and they simply fail to do so, and they hide behind their supporters who were not there when they were making or getting into corrupt dealings. And
Okay.
we've seen them being protected, not going to answer the question. But you, as a Kenyan citizen,
Mm-hmm.
try stealing just hata kuku ya mwenzako,
Uh-huh.
utapelekwa hata before ukujiwe, utajipeleka tu wewe mwenyewe. So I think the citizens respect the law, they follow the
Okay.
law, they know
Mm-hmm.
what the law requires of them. But the political class, they think that no, they look at it and decide whether it is worth going or not. So the laws that we have are not being respected by the political leaders, and that is part of the reforms that we need to follow up as a
Okay.
people or as a generation as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Makobura, for that. Miguda, sorry for keeping you waiting. We decided to chew into your time. I hope you will find it within you to forgive us for that. And Miguda, you talked about Matiang'i, and that's bring me to what we call. Do you think Matiang'i would be a better ideal for this country due to the fact that you've raised the issue of ignoring the court summon, and also we are looking at right now in the political space, Gachagua has become a subject of discussion. And there's so many people who feel that despite all that, Gachagua is coming out to be the face of opposition in this country, because for the last, I don't know, 2 weeks or so, or more than 2 weeks, especially, Rigathi Gachagua has been being discussed. Today, even I saw members of ODM had a presser. They discuss about Rigathi Gachagua. I saw where they are, the government side, especially where they're talking about Rigathi Gachagua. And this is like the way Raila used to be having being in opposition, you need to be very vocal, people used to talk about him much, especially when it comes to protest and organizing for demos, and that is shifted. Right now, you feel like so people are not talking about him as such, and now is Rigathi Gachagua. Miguda, do you see like Rigathi Gachagua is replacing Raila Odinga and is becoming the king of opposition, or these are just assumptions that people are saying?
First, I just want to begin by responding to the issue of Matiang'i.
Yeah.
Of course, Matiang'i can do better.
Yeah.
We know him, we know his capacity.
Mm.
But there's a problem whereby we believe that even if he's elected as the president, the cabinet is going to institute, is going to bring people who have been there before. That's the problem. Problem number two, Matiang'i is going to retain the status quo. He's not going to get overhaul of the whole system because it was part and parcel of the previous regime. And actually, it was CS for the previous regime. And some of us, we believe that it's an extension of the Jubilee Party rule when they are going to give Matiang'i to be the president of the Republic of Kenya, because Jubilee, or rather Uhuru Kenyatta, ruled for 10 years, and the constitution said that it should rule for 10 years. But you can bring someone to rule for 5 years for you. So you extend your term to be 15 years. Because if he happened to be the president, and you see people like Joe Musheru coming back to the cabinet, you will see people like those who have served in Uhuru's cabinet are coming back or making comeback. JB Muturi in the cabinet. It's just an extension of Uhuru's term. That's why we say that Matiang'i is a good person when it comes to delivery, but we also must question, we do some scrutiny. And also Matiang'i also must be brought to question. Let him respond to the issues Kenyans are asking about, the issues of what he did when he was the CS for the Interior. There are many things that he did, actually, which supporters of Raila Odinga are not buying that Matiang'i is a good person. The way it's right now, supporters of Gachagua are not buying that Kanja and Amin are doing the good thing. What Kanja and Amin are doing right now to supporters of Gachagua, that is exactly what Matiang'i did to Raila supporters. That's why let's be honest. When we are doing this,
I think when we were towards 2022, Matiang'i and Raila seems to be in the same camp. Remember that because
I'm giving you by the time we were forcefully getting Miguna outside the country.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Thank you about that. Thank you
I'm
for
giving you an
reminding me.
example when we're approaching 2022. Because he
Mm,
did, even he was Raila's ally, he did those things to Raila's supporters. Actually, alifinya watu, to speak truth to be told, alifinya wasee, Matenga alifinya wasee.
mm,
Sasa kama alifinya wasee, saizi pia unapata huyu Kanja na Amin wanafinya wasee wengine. Ndiposa tunasema kama lazima tuzungumuze kama Wakenya, tuzungumuze tu ukweli na tuseme ya kwamba huyu jamaa tunataka kumpatia kiti ya urais. Wakati alikuwa waziri wa
waziri.
usalama, kuna zile mambo alifanya ambayo sisi kama wenye tuliathiriwa hatujafurahia nayo. Sasa tunasema ya kwamba kabla tumchague kama rais, lazima akuje na ajibike kwa yale yote aliyofanyia Wakenya. Juu hata hao wafuasi wa Raila Odinga ni Wakenya, hata wafuasi wa Rigathi Gachagua ni Wakenya. That's why we still insist that each and every person, before you come to the people and you want to pretend with a new face that I'm the Messiah, but you have history. You are not the Messiah. There are things you did wrong to Kenyans. Those peoples were also Kenyans. The same way this blog is a Kenyan. Right now, we are fighting for the right of this blogger. We are fighting for the rights of people who have been abducted. The same way we are fighting for the rights of people who are being tortured by that time by Matiang'i. So that's an honest discussion which must come to the reality, and we must face him head on that Matiang'i is good, yes, he can deliver, but he's also having some weaknesses. Those are things that we must line out. The issue of Gachagua, Gachagua to me, I just, in the terms of opposition, I can say Gachagua is ahead of all these people because the way he has managed himself, the way he has decided to take Mr. President head on. So he has already taken everything from these people. These people are now trying to come. He has overtaken Kalonzo, he has overtaken Matiang'i. And to me, after impeachment, Gachagua has been a self-made person because he has tried to be himself and is now making to be the king of opposition. But let me tell you, you talked about that these are things that people are just saying or they're just rumors. No, it is true. Right now, the current king of opposition is Gachagua because whatever he's doing is what Raila used to do. Raila used to attack government. The only thing that Gachagua has not done, Gachagua has not called for mandamano. But that's the only difference. But if you could have called for mandamano, then it could be like Raila. But now, Gachagua, it doesn't mean for him. It can't be like Raila because we are all made differently. We are born differently. We have different views. We have different aspirations. We can't reason the same. We can't be the same. Therefore, Gachagua, when he's not like Raila, maybe he's not calling for demos, I can give him a thumbs up because me, I like those people who are original. I like those people who are authentic. I don't want someone who's copy pasting. That you want to do things which Raila did before, then you expect to succeed. No, that was Raila. Raila did those things before. You as Gachagua, who are you? We want to see you. We want to know you. Bring your strategics. Have different things. Don't use tactics which were used by Raila to face the regime. Just be independent, be authentic, be creative the way you are, and be self-made. And that's how you want to judge him. We don't want somebody who want to use the tactics which were used by Raila, and Raila did not. Raila was never cleared. Raila was never declared as the president because we want new things. That's why I believe that when you talk about the king of opposition, I can give it to Gachagua currently.
Okay.
But Matiang'i also should clear himself, and also he should ensure that as he moves across the country, he should look for popularity at the same time. He should mend the differences with the Kenyan people.
Let's say like mending those fences with the Kenyan people, especially when we talk to Matiang'i and we look at, he might be, let's say that we are looking at the political sphere and the political waters, and we say that Matiang'i can be the ideal for the people of Kenya, and there are these issues that are being raised not only by you but other Kenyans too. And you find that they are coming out when now they're in opposition and telling the government to do exactly what they were told to do, but they did not do, you know. now and that's now come to the trust issue that you've mentioned. Do you think by him going around the country will and allowing himself to answer those tough questions, because the other day he invited those questions, he said that he was ready, will that one give him the upper hand, or especially from the voters?
I want to give you my pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we might end up with many presidential candidates in the forthcoming election. We might end up with Gachagua, Matiang'i,
Mm-hmm.
Kalonzo, Ruto,
Yeah.
Maraga, or
Mm-hmm.
they can unite to face William Ruto.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and we have discussed this even with Marco Bura, the problem is, after we have composed or after we have established this government,
Yeah.
who are the people who are going to be appointed? These people, like the issue of Matiang'i has been CS. He could have done everything he's now suggesting by that time he was there.
Yeah.
But for him to rise right now, I believe that let him be self-made, whereby let him be himself. Let him not
Mm-hmm.
ride on people like Gachagua or Kalonzo. Why can't let him just move the way Gachagua is moving? Let him be
Mm-hmm.
strong and bold to move and try to correct and explain to Kenyans everything. But as for me, if we end up with people like, because me, I still have a problem with Matiang, even though people, because we are in this country, we will witness all these things. I still
Yeah.
have a problem, even if he's elected as a president, because
Mm-hmm.
we will not make any step, we will not make any move. So I believe that,
Mm-hmm.
according to me, as
Yeah.
a Kenyan voter,
Yeah.
because William Ruto is unpopular and people want him to go,
Yeah.
people are questioning Matiang'i. As for me, and also some like-minded people, we
Mm-hmm.
have decided that if at all we can walk into the polling station that day, as we can just vote for that person. For instance, for instance, we can vote for Maraga in that
Mm-hmm.
case.
Mm-hmm.
Then after we are voting for Maraga,
Mm-hmm.
we will have a photo. Then we can keep it as a record. So one day when Kenyans will be crying, we'll
Yeah.
give them as evidence that, okay, as we communicated, we were heard. Even if
Mm-hmm.
Maraga becomes number 4, or number 5,
Yeah.
of course we have been heard. We made him number 3, we made him number 4, we made number 4 or number 5.
Yeah.
But this culture whereby we want to go to ballot and vote on emotions and tribalism and
Mm-hmm.
compositions of tribe,
Yeah.
we are going to go back where we are. And I can assure you, Brother Bruce, today, if we can end up with the lack of formation I'm seeing the other side,
Mm-hmm.
there's no change because these people have been there before. They
Well,
were
yeah.
Kanu. And we say we want to finish. The last Kanu to rule us is William Ruto. We don't want any
Mm-hmm.
Kanu again. Let us have fresh blood. If you cannot have that one,
Yeah.
but we are, as we have made a decision and we are
Mm-hmm.
not going back, that we will communicate and we will have our candidate. And that candidate, after we have voted for him, we will keep those records for future reference. That, of course, if Kenyans will be crying,
Mm-hmm.
we will be reminding them, as we communicated, we were heard.
Maybe next time, if you find time, you can let us know of your candidate, so that we can also talk about him and to know what is new that is bringing into Kenya, or what kind of leadership is bringing into Kenya. Makobura, let me engage you on issue of tribalism. Tribal card has always been one of the pointers, or one of the drivers, especially when it comes to our politics, because tribe is very sensitive, and it it brings that emotion, especially to people of a particular tribe. Especially right now, the issue of tribe has been one of those conversation that people are having, especially like talking about the Rigathi Gachagua. Ever since he started to come out as a vocal, he has been labeled a tribalist, and that is one of the issues that even was impeached, that made his impeachment, because he was talking about shares. But when you look at how Rigathi Gachagua has come up with the narrative that tend to run away from it, call them in a very intelligent way of calling a narrative. The other day, he talked about cousins. When he was being called tribalist, he came up with cousins. People talked about that. Then yesterday, he also came about with mashemeji. you know. And if you look at Mashemeji, there's something in it, especially when it comes to intermarriage. That's why somebody come. And this thing has been weaponized. And even if you look at right now in the conversation, in the national issues, especially, we are talking about the victim of uh, of protests that took place. You know, nobody is talking about those victims, yeah, and nobody is talking about how to bridge the gap between the police and the people. But people are so much focused about Rigathi Gachagua. Is like leaders are talking about him each and every day, being a tribal. You know, um, how can we, as a people now, the voters themselves, I'm not talking about the leaders. How can the voters themselves uh, be at a position to have an informed decision or get information or get awareness on how the politics is being played, especially around the weaponization of tribalism, on how sometimes each and every election it is us against uh, the other communities because you know it has how can they now the voters themselves.
Okay, the issue of okay, sorry, the issue of tribe. It's something that has always been brought forth, especially whenever we are preparing as a country for the next election. And of course, it is being played by the political class. I think this is something that we really have to note and take good note of.
Mm,
Tribe, as much as we are coming from different tribes, as much as Kenya has regions and people coming from different ethnic groups,
yeah.
I want to tell you that there is always been love. There has always been unity, people doing things together, people staying together. But whenever we are going to whenever we are approaching the elections, we've always seen the issue of tribe being brought forth. And it is a
Mm,
tactic that is being used by the political class. They use this to evoke the
yeah.
emotions of the people, so that because they know, psychologists will tell you that naturally human beings, whenever they feel that their emotions are evoked, they
Mhm,
will really have to look at the reasons why, whatever is being brought forth. And depending on how their emotions are evoked, they will then make decisions thinking thinking that they will go on the side that they feel they are safe. But
yeah.
that has been wrong. It is a tactic that is being used by the political class to divide the nation, to divide the people. But in real
Mhm,
sense, the issue of tribe among the people, among the citizens, is no longer there.
mhm,
Come to Nairobi, for example, go to whichever region, you will find that people stay together without knowing,
yeah.
without even telling each other that, as we come from this side. And they share so many things in common. They
Mm,
speak together, they do things together, they go to same schools. you know Tribe is not wrong, it is not bad. People come
yeah.
from different cultures,
Mhm,
and it is good for people to come from different cultures,
mm,
because we are Africans, and remember, we come from different regions. If you try study the how the tribal things started to come, you will
mhm,
find that people started coming from different regions, and then they converge at a certain point. The Kushites, the Nilotes. There's nothing wrong about tribe, but the way it is being used when personal interests then converge is now the
mhm,
challenge that we need to look into. And the
mm,
political class has mastered this very well. They're using it to take advantage of the
mhm,
people. They are using it to divide the people, so that wakisha divide the people, there will be kutakuwa na mwanya, na ndio wapite katikati
mm,
hapo. By the
mm,
time the people will be coming back to their senses to
yeah.
get to understand what really is happening, time
Yes.
itakuwa imeenda. So it is
Imeenda.
a challenge. The people of Kenya needs to know that
Mhm,
tribe is not wrong. Being tribal, it is not wrong. But point you see political leaders trying to use it in a negative way, then you have to
Mm,
think twice. Because when they use it in a negative way, what we will see is we will see people starting to converge and to, to
mm,
fight and to
mm.
cause mayhem and to cause looting and those kind of things. So it is upon the people of Kenya to make the decision
Okay.
whether they want to be listening to the political rhetoric which are negative,
Yeah.
negative to the extent that currently you're seeing what is happening in Kenya.
Mm,
I can give you a good example of what happened in June 25th because as someone who has interest on what is happening and also as someone working in the media sector, I'd gone to
mm,
town to just get to understand what was happening so that I can
yeah.
report the people.
Mhm, mm,
But what I saw is a mixture of people from different tribes joined together and chanting. And
yeah.
the main reason why they were together upon, based on what I asked them, is because
Mhm,
they felt the government was not doing the right things on matters of governance. I saw people from different tribes.
yeah.
Then they all had one major reason why they were on the street. They have
Mm,
the same agenda. The suffering united them and brought them to the town and the CBD and all those other places where people were demonstrating.
mhm,
If you then see the people having different political views, then coming out to single
mhm.
it out and say that it was a certain community,
Yeah.
then that tells you what about people who are from different communities who are also in town and fighting for the problem and the challenges that they are going through.
Mhm,
And then, if, for example, you find yourself, you are one of those people who are there coming from a
mhm,
certain different community, and
mhm,
then you hear now the political class now changing it and making it a tribal thing, then you
mm,
ask yourself, who is fooling who? It is the political class that are fooling the citizens, and they're
uh-huh,
using this so that they can remain to power, they can
mm,
get us, support from other regions,
mm.
and it is not helping the people. It is causing
Okay.
a lot of havoc, causing a
Mhm,
lot of problems to the people, and we need to stand firm as a people. And that is why I like what the Gen Zs are doing, or the youths of the Republic of Kenya.
mm,
Coming out and say that they're tribeless is a good thing.
yeah.
Coming out to say that they are leaderless is a good thing. If they were if they had a leader, I'm telling you, the government or the opposition or whichever side, they would have come together
Yeah.
and looked for their leader. They would have bribed their leader. They would have arrested their leader, and the movement would have died. So it
Okay.
is a good movement, a movement that is drove by passion, a movement that is united by the problems that people are going through. It is a
Okay.
good thing. Let us shun away from tribal thinking, tribal cocoons, the narratives of tribe, because if we want a country that is going to prosper,
Mhm,
then we need to invite each other, people from different cultures, people speaking different languages, so that we get to understand. When you bring people together, you'll get to understand that people from this side or community, through their culture, this is what really goes well with them. And when people are together, speaking together, you can always find solution to the challenges that they face at their different levels.
okay. Miguda, maybe I want to know your perspective because when you look at our political, especially when it comes to formation of political or formation of what we call coalitions, um, they usually formed by based on the region that everybody comes from. Then you find that in the moment after forming this coalition, the group, each of the groups that have formed, each of them called each other tribes. The competitors, they call them tribe, like what we are seeing today, because we know the opposition that is now led by Rigathi Gachagua, because they're not in government, where they are with Kalonzo Musyoka, they are with Eugene Wamalwa and the rest, and we have the Right Honorable Prime Minister and President William Ruto and the rest. But now, when you are here, you find that, for instance, the group or the political party that is under the banner or under the umbrella of the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Raila Molo Odinga, and the group that is under the umbrella of Rigathi Gachagua, the group of the president, this other side, and Raila are accusing the other group of being tribal. But if you look at history, at some point, all of them, they were together at some point. So at what point do we now classify somebody that you are a tribal, at what point? What is this point that we reach as leaders and we decide that, okay, because you're not in our camp, then you are tribal. This is the camp whereby the tribal card is not here. This is a camp where the tribal is. At what point do we reach that? And after knowing that, at what point, then at what point can we, especially the voters, again, I'm asking you, get informed decision that not to go with what the politicians are telling us?
First, what we must agree is that there's no day voters can come to a consensus and make an informed decision, or unless we decide, because for now people are not yet decided. And of course, we come from different tribes as Kenyan people, and we are diverse in nature. We are from our tribes. But mostly, you find out that these people, at one point in life, they have been together. That is why it was very easy for Raila and Ruto to come back together, because they have been together. At one point in life, Rigathi Gachagua can work with Ruto in future. At one point in life, Raila worked with the Uhuru because they have been together. So it's very easy for them to converge depending on the interests. That is why we usually tell our supporters or our viewers that you must treat it as politics. Do not take it personal, or do not take it too much that something that is a do-die. It's a game whereby when it is convenient, you work. When it's not convenient, you don't work. But it's never permanent enemy. You don't create permanent enemy. And I believe that mostly we have defined politics as there's no permanent friend or enemy. It's a matter of interest. So I believe that going forward, as Kenyan people, first we must understand that this is politics. And politics is all about interest. That one must stick into our brain. Then going forward as Kenyan people, we let us not always buy the narrative which is being driven by our leaders, because even if you tell me that they are calling Gachagua to be tribal, under what aspect is Gachagua tribal? Because you ask yourself, how? Because currently the president, even in his appointment, is tribal. Everybody's tribal. I don't see anyone who's not tribal in this composition. So I believe that it's just a narrative whereby an opponent can just decide to call you a name. Maybe you are tribal, to drive an answer that you guys, you are tribal, nyinyi wa ukabila. Sasa sisi hatutaki wa ukabila. You just want to tell Kenyans that to them, they are united. They are uniting Kenya, what we call national unity. But the good news has always been that whenever you are a president, you are one of your functions is that you are a symbol of national unity. That is enshrined in the constitution, that a president is a symbol of national unity. So you find out that when Raila was shaking hands with the Uhuru, they were saying they are bringing Kenya together, unity. I'm reaching other Kenyans, I'm reaching other people. But in the real sense, you have reached people by the time you are being sworn in as the president. Already you've reached people because you are a symbol of national unity. Now William Ruto is telling people that because I'm the president, I'm working with other people who never voted for me. Now I'm bringing the unity of the country. But he is the symbol of national unity. Any president is a symbol of national unity. So you find out that the other people, president can decide to give them names like Awan Watokabila, Awasi Watokabila. So to me, I don't buy that narrative that there's someone who is tribal and there's someone who is not tribal. Most of these our leaders, they are tribal, and most of these our leaders, they like what favors them. It's just a matter of converge and diverge. Whenever it converge, we can work. Whenever there's a divergent, we part ways. And that it has worked that way. And some people take it too personal, some people take it too serious, but future you find them working together. That's why me mostly I treat it as a politics, and politics is politics the way it is, and it's all about interest. But what we should focus on right now is about the population, about the people, the electorate, not leaders. Because leaders has failed us. Leaders have made us to be their servants for a quite long time, and they are continuing to do so at the expense of the people to plunder more. So with the people should be, at least, we should be informed. And whenever we are making a decision at ballot, we should ensure that we don't follow those narratives. Just look at an individual, whereby if you believe that that's why I was telling you, this issue of opposition and Matiang, though it's popular, but look at the people who are going to compose that cabinet. And in this issue of William Ruto and the system and Kindiki and the MOU between ODM and UDA, these are people who have been there before. That is why sometimes a change is good, but this change must be an informed one. It should not be a change that people are riding on a certain wave that now Matiang'i has come, and now we must support him. Of course, we will support him to a certain extent. But the question we're asking as the young Turks and the people who are fighting right now, most of the people who have been on the street are the Gen Z. Most of the people who have lost their lives are the Gen Z. Most of the people who have been injured at the Gen Z. And we are going to establish a government with an exclusion of the Gen Z. So was Gen Z fighting for you people to establish a government? Those are the questions we are asking. Like what happened? After people protested against the finance bill, when ODM were already their so-called expert, they just gave the people who have been in politics for, why could they donate Gen Zs? And the people who died by that time were Gen Zs. So it means that Gen Zs are fighting for seniors to get to power. Those are the question we are asking. That even if it's Matiang'i, where is the place of the Gen Z? Where is the position of the Gen Z? Where are we going to place the young people? Where is our space? Because most of us, we have come of age. We can work. We can be CS. We can be PS. We can be ambassadors. We can be high commissioners. Where is our position? Why are you excluding us? That's why I will not sympathize with the issue of Matiang'i. I will not sympathize with the issue of Ruto. I must first fight for the space of the young people, because even the previous demonstration, the people who are declared dead, most of them are young people. Why is that young people are dying? And when there's a change or there is something to be given to people, it's just given to the obvious faces. That's a question whereby we young people should discuss that. Okay, we are fighting for the reforms. We are on the streets. We are online. But where's our space? Because we cannot be always that we are being placed that we are opposition. When it comes to Madamano, go to the street, demonstrate. When it comes to goons, come and protect our properties. When it comes to politicians, come and protect the vehicle of politician. Come and protect a politician. You are being used to kill your fellow youths in political rallies. But when it comes to appointment, then they can't discuss you. When it comes to even tickets for the political party, we're not being given direct tickets, and the older people are being given direct tickets. They're buying those tickets. That's why me and still insist that we must fight for the space of the young people. The young people must be represented. The young people must be appointed. The young people must be part and parcel of this government. If there is no young person going to be represented, then we will discuss another things, not these people.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us your take. There are quite a number of comments here coming from our viewers. And to our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media. Here we say that your opinion counts. If you're watching us for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us. And us here, we will really, really appreciate. There's quite a, Mr. Migura, there are some comments here that I want you to just give your take on. Pigra here is saying that hello, my tribal Kenyans who deny how they are not tribal. Be real, guys. We are all tribal. And then he says that, and politicians know it too well that we are very tribal, and they use that against us. Truth be told. And I think part of what we are talking about here, a good viewer, is that we are saying, we did not, if you did hear what we said, we are not denying the fact that we are coming from different tribes. But the question that we are asking tonight is, why is it that when we are going to this political events, when we are going for elections, when we are thinking about elections, when we are thinking about leadership, that is when the issue of tribe comes in. I've never heard people speak about tribe when people are not talking political, when people are not talking politics. And that is the question here we are asking. And again, another question that we are asking is, why is it that the political class are the ones that bring forth the issue of tribe? They remind the people of Kenya about their tribe when we are almost going for election. When there are no matters of election, the issue of tribe is not there. But when we are seeking for political, seats, that is when the issue of politics come in. Another question that we've asked is that, why is it that as much as people are coming from different tribes, we all, stay in one environment? Come to Nairobi, you'll find that in one plot, there are so many people from different tribes staying in one apartment. And, there is no big problem. They're not fighting. They're not calling each other meetings and and telling each other that you are a Luo, go there, you are a Kikuyu, go there, you are Masai. Why is it that we are not seeing the negative tribal view amongst us and where we stay, where we do interact in the cities, but we see it when issues to do with politics are brought forth? That is the question that we are having here. We are not saying that we do not come from any tribe, so kindly get that. And of course, we do acknowledge the fact that we are coming from different tribes, have different cultures, and that is what really defines us as Africans. We acknowledge that. But the question we are asking is, why is it that we've allowed the political class to bring the narrative of politics at a point when we are going for elections? Why is it that we talk about tribe when we are going for election, but amongst us we do not speak about tribe? Where we stay, where we go to school, we've got school where people go, Kenyans go to, no matter where you're coming from. You'll not be told that you are a Luo, go to that other school. You are a Luo, go to schools in Kisumu. You're not supposed to go to schools in Kiambu. That is the question that we are asking. And of course, part of the reason why we are having this conversation is that we are just trying to enlighten each other so that we get to a point where we do not, as much as the political class are reminding us about our tribe, we do not think about it in a negative way. We do not, we are trying to speak about it so that it does not evoke our emotions in a negative way. I think I'm clear about that. And I wanted to just clarify to Father Didi and our good friend P. Graham. And Miguda, what is your take on the comments of P here? I mean P. Gray here saying that we are tribal, and it is a fact. And you can also try give him the context at which we are trying to bring the conversation. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of everyone who is watching us tonight. We really appreciate. And we request you that if you're watching for the first time, just kindly like and subscribe to the channel. What we do here is, a conversation that is all geared towards the betterment of our country. Mr. Miguda?
In the context of our conversation, we are trying to state that in the political environment, mostly our leaders are tribal. Our leaders tend to be tribal, not the people, because that is political. And when it comes to social and economic practices, we are not tribal, because when people are demonstrating, they are buddies. These buddies are coming from different tribes. Even in school, from kindergarten to tertiary, we go with different people from different tribes, and we are desk mates, we are even hostel mates, we are being put in same groups, like of 10 people, 7 people. We do the same assignment, we submit to a different lecturer. When we board matatus, we are from different, there are no matatus for Masai or matatus for James. When it's come to marriage, when you take your dowry to a Samburu, they will not reject that you are a Rendile, we can't take your dowry. They'll take your dowry. This, even if I go to court today, I cannot decline to take a plea because the judge presiding is a Digo. I will take a plea. And even the magistrate can be a Duroma, or if the police officer is from Kambi, then I'll say, okay, you are a Kambi police officer, you can't arrest me. No, you will arrest me even if you are a Kauma. It doesn't matter which because National Police Service. And politicians tend to put it to suit their interest that I have my people, I have people from my tribe. We, the Giriama, we, the Kalenjins. You understand? They are trying to put it like we, the Ogiek, not in a context that I'm a Kenyan. I want to represent the Kenyan people. And even the issue has come right now. I don't want to delve into it because it's like people want to force that it must be tribal. But the context of our discussion was about our leaders being tribal, trying to divide the people to suit their positions in the political context. But the people, mostly, they are not tribal. If you go to hospital, you cannot deny to get access to services because the medical doctor is a Kisi. You must be taken care of. But this is that, because you are a lawyer, I can't give a lawyer governor. I can't vote for a Luo governor. I can't vote for a Kikuyu senator. That is now why we want to say that the political leaders, pro class, tend to drive us into that route. But mostly at the grassroots mashinani, tuko tu pamoja kama Wakenya, and we do things as Kenyans.
Okay, thank you. Maybe part of an example of what happened, that the reason why we are trying to have this conversation is what happened on June 25th, where we had quite a number of people who went to the streets, people coming from different societies, from different tribes, and they all converge. And their main aim, of course, they wanted to do what we call a demonstration. And then after the whole thing, we saw quite a number of leaders coming out to say that, the people who went for demonstration were coming from a certain region. And that is then the question you're asking. Personally, as a media person, I'd gone to town to witness what was happening so that I would report to our viewers. And what I saw quite a number of people coming from different tribes. They were all Kenyans from different tribes, from all different regions. But why is it that what we were seeing now, when we see leaders coming out to give their views, is that they're saying that the people who went to the street, the people who were demonstrating, they were coming from one certain region, they were coming from one certain tribe. And the question you're asking is, to what extent are we then going to stop the mentality of people coming from certain regions are the ones that are doing certain things? The people from certain regions are the one doing the demonstration. And the reason why we see them do this is, very well, it is not true that there are only people from certain region who went for the demonstration. It is not true. The fact of the matter is that people came from different regions and they were all in the street. To what point are we going to get so that we will have leaders who will be, mindful of the languages that they use, mindful in the sense that, the conversation or the choices of what they would be using in public are words that are then uniting the people of Kenya instead of causing the division. I think that is more of what we are talking about tonight. Miguda?
When it comes to the issue I've talked about, the demonstration people came out, that one should not be even a subject of discussion because we saw Kenyans were outside. People came out for different regions, different tribes were demonstrating. It was not for a certain region. And even if you want to say so, the current pressing issues for the Kenyan people are not for a certain region. Every Kenya, the people are suffering. If it's high cost of living, it cut across. Onga cut across, the fuel levy cut across, the medical facilities cut across, new funding model cut across, pesa mfukoni cut across, violation of human rights cut across. No one is safe. Anybody can be abducted, anybody can be killed anytime. So it's cut across. So you are not safe. Even the people who are blogging for the government, they are not safe, because even they are the people also, they are part of the economy. This economy, we are part of it, all of us. So no one is safe. Those who are in the country, we are being affected. So if you sit back, relax that it's for a certain region, then that is now up to you, because you are at liberty also not to come out. Not that everybody must come out. You are at liberty to do what you want to do. But the fact remains that the pressing issues are cutting across each and every time, because we move across the country. We are not in stagnant at one position or one place, that we are in a certain corner of the country. We cut across and we engage people. Actually, everybody is being affected. And that's why it's very important for people to call for change. And change must come. And it must come with a cost. That's why those things are happening. But all in all, I can just say that the narrative being that the certain section of people came out, that is government propaganda. No, people came out from different types. So people, actually, those who are in town, you can count. There were so many people from different tribes. Not because a certain section of people cannot come out. Even there were so many people trying to say that the goons could not even block them. The goons were swallowed by the people. So Kenyans should always ensure that these things they are fighting for is not for a certain region or group of people. It's for all of them, because when we get change, it's going to affect all of us. But when we go down as a country, all of us will go down. So even them, they are not safe. Even the CS are not safe. Everybody is not safe. We must ensure that we fight for what is right and what is good for the Kenyan population and for the Kenyan people and for posterity beyond us.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us your take, Mr. Migoda. And I want to take this opportunity to also say a big thank you to PG, Father Didi, Gypsy Corner, Judith, and everyone who is giving us their view at the comment section. We really appreciate. This is Brother Benson Media, and if you're watching us for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. Mr. Migura, there's another topic that I wanted us to have a look at. Esther Passaris, who is the women rep of Nairobi, is coming up with a bill ambayo inataka udhibiti wa maandamano, na tena Passaris anapendekeza maandamano kudhibitiwa. Anasema mswada wake itapunguza uharibifu na tena itapunguza mambo na vifo, waandamanaji kuzuiliwa kufika bunge na Ikulu, na tena hii inalenga kuratibu maeneo ya kuandamana. And people are giving their views. What do you have to say about this? Is it a bill that is going to go against the expression and the freedoms of rights and expression of the people of Kenya? What do you have to say about the proposed bill by Esther Passaris?
Mi sina shida na Esther Passaris kuleta mswada katika bunge. Lete tu mswada katika bunge, lakini tunajua kwamba hiyo mswada ikifika bungeni, hata kama iko sawa, wabunge watapitisha, rais vile vile ataiweka sahihi, na itakuwa kama mswada zimekuwa hapo awali, haitakuwa tofauti na zingine. Lakini cha muhimu tunajua kwamba sisi tunaheshimu katiba, na katiba ndio sheria kuu katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, na katiba iko wazi katika kipengele cha 37 ya kwamba kila raia ako na huru na haki ya kufanya maandamano. Sasa atalete mswada kiasi gani, ama alete mswada na vitu gani, ama zikuwe na vipengele vingapi, lakini cha muhimu ya kwamba kila ambacho iko katika katiba chetu, na katiba iko wazi ya kwamba kila raia ako na haki ya kufanya maandamano. Sasa Esther Passaris haina shida, ila tu hiyo mswada tuko sawa nayo, lakini sisi cha muhimu tunatazama katiba, na katiba ndio tutafanya maandamano kulingana na katiba. Sasa hizo ni tu vitu ambazo zifai kushtua kama raia, ni sawa tu alete mswada, na pia yajua ya kwamba mwaka wa 2027 Wakenya wako na yeye katika uchaguzi, na siku moja pia yeye atapatikana pale tuko leo katika upinzani, na kama atapatikana katika upinzani, ile sheria ambayo ameleta bungeni watatumia kwake yeye mwenyewe. Sasa wakati unaleta sheria, usifikiria kwamba siku moja wewe utakaa katika serikali milele. Sasa zingine serikali huenda ubadilika, na wale wenye wako upinzani wanaweza chukua madaraka, na wakishachukua madaraka hivi, zile sheria ambayo wewe uliunda kama katika serikalini za kuja tena zitumike kwako. Sasa wakati yeyote ambayo uko nafasi ya kuunda sheria katika bunge, lazima ufikirie kwa makini ya kwamba siku moja hii sheria inaweza tumika kwako. Sasa leta tuacha tu madam alete hiyo mswada na iko sawa. Sisi hatuna tatizo lote kama Kenya, tuko sawa.
Okay, thank you so much. If you're watching us, you can also give us your take on what you think about the bill that is being brought forth by Esther Passaris, who is the member of the women rep of Nairobi County, and she's trying to bring a bill that is going to limit what we call the demonstrations that we've been witnessing, and she's trying to speak about matters of reducing things to do with looting, things to do with the killings, and she's also trying to propose that the bill should then stop people from going to the parliament and also to the state house. And that is what she is proposing. You can also give us your comment or what you think about that at the comment section. Na hivyo basi tukisonga mbele, once again, this is Brother Benson Media. If you're watching, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. Mr. Migura, something else that I want you to give your opinion on is we've seen sana sana wale viongozi ambao wako upinzani bado wanaendelea kukashifu mauaji, na si viongozi peke yake. We've also seen religious leaders, we've seen activists, we've seen human rights group, we've seen even some embassies also talking about the same. And wote they're currently saying that viongozi sana sana wanaambia cabinet secretary in charge of interior that he should ajiuzulu, he should resign. And in their comments, they're saying that he has no capacity to continue holding that position, especially after the controversial wording that he did give, or shoot to kill order that he gave to the police, of which he came out to clarify. But the people are saying the wording that he used were not really right, and that they are going against the rights of the people, and for that reason he needs to resign. We saw the former deputy president Kalonzo, we saw Wamalwa going to just say pole to the family of Boniface Kariuki, a gentleman who was shot at a close range during the demonstrations which were happening here in Nairobi. And something else that I also want you to give your opinion on, apart from the kujiuzulu kwa Murkomen ambayo wananchi wanamuhimiza, I also want you to give your opinion on what the government did. I think I did mention that it was wise for the government to waive the bill that was there for the gentleman who suffered, and to an extent that his life was then cut short, of course, with the bullet that were shot at him with the police officers when he was demonstrating. What is your take on consistent pulls or push by the people that the cabinet secretary should resign? And again, what is your take on the government deciding to waive the bill? You can also give us your take, and what you can also say about the opposition, that is Kalonzo Malo, going to just say pole to the family of Boniface. The guy was shot while, selling mask here in the Nairobi CBD. What is your take on that?
First, you talked about the issue of someone should step aside or someone should resign. If the people are calling him to resign, and where the people are, I'm also calling him to resign because of one, two, three. You understand that when he was the CS for infrastructure, he was the one who was presiding over the Adani saga. And you understand what happened. And right now, at the internal security, he has given orders to the police officer to shoot to kill, which is contrary to what is in the Constitution of Kenya and the Bill of Rights. Therefore, such a person to me does not have any capacity to hold public office. When it comes to personal, I don't know about it, but based on that other sense, I can just also urge him to step aside or to resign the people calling him, so that we can have someone who is a bit mature and understand how to handle the public. Because we need someone who can bring reforms and in the police sector other than someone who is inciting the police officers. That is very wrong. If that is the case, he should resign. You talked about the Boniface karaoke and the medical bill, which was waived by the government. I too support it because it was too much for the family, something that they have never insured and they never prepared. It came abruptly because he was shot by the Kenya police officer. The Kenya government should take responsibility and they should compensate whenever they need be. And the issue of justice, the backs of the government, because it is their bullet that was used to shoot the mask vendor. So that was a good move by the government, actually. But I just want to talk about the issue of Kelonzo and Eugene. They should also be honest. They should not just select people they are visiting. We have lost many Kenyans. Well, we never saw them when Denzel was being buried. We never saw them at Denzel. You understand what I'm saying? We never saw them when Denzel was being buried at Karachuonyo. We have never seen them going to Albert Ojwang place. We only saw Maraga. Even these leaders trying to show us that even when it comes to advocating for the people who are killed, they are only selecting where they are popular. That's where they are going. Actually, anyway, they should also be sometimes understand the public is watching them keenly. And even you understand when Denzel was being buried, only Babu Wino went there because he's a Luo. So these were just going where they are popular. They are politicians. That's how they work. They just go visit where they are popular and where they support Bezar, but they can't cut across. I think that's how they try to reason. But if they mean well for the Kenyans, they should actually advocate for each and every person because we are all Kenyans. And the way I told you before, the people who have been suppressed by Matiang'i were Kenyans. The people are being currently suppressed by Kanja and the Amin. They are Kenyans. These things should get into our mind that we are Kenyans, irrespective of what. Do not do any wrong to your fellow Kenyans because you are in that position. Because it's the same feeling you could be feeling when you are doing that, when they're doing for you opposite. Therefore, let us embrace our countrymen. Let us embrace our countrywomen. And with this, I say that if we love our country, we should love our countrymen and women. It should be that way. Let us not try to be selective, tribal, or rely on where we are popular our basis. Let's just be flexible and live with one people, with one accord. And that is what it should be. Back to you, Makubura.
Okay, thank you so much. Allow me to, of course, acknowledge the presence of our good father, Father Didi, here in the comment section, giving us his take. Allow me to also acknowledge the presence of P. Gra at the comment, saying thank you so much, and our good friend Gypsy Corner. And I want to take this opportunity to remind our viewers that this is Brother Benson Media. And if you are watching for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us and we'll really appreciate. And I was just seeing some comments here, and I've remembered that Father Didi had, we were supposed to have a conversation relating to religion. And I remember you did accept that you can find time. We have that discussion. I don't know how I can find your number. so that we create time. You also give us the version of this other side of, religion, and how the religious leaders, of course, especially those of you who are ordained to speak to the people of God, and also as representatives of Christ. If you can find time, and you just come and give us your take as well on what you think. We have quite a number of questions. I don't know how I will how I can find you. Maybe your email address, or your phone number, whichever. I don't know how I can find it, so that maybe you can write for us. There's an email at our YouTube channel, so that we can find your email or your phone number. We need to really have a conversation. I can see our good friend P. Gra is also in support of that. Pigra, I don't know. I want to share here a link, and you can just join and share with me your contact at the private chat. Maybe if you are, you'll not be seen at. Maybe you are not prepared today. You'll not be seen at the studio, but you can just come and share with me either your contact or email at the private chat. Yeah. So as we continue with the conversation, Mr. Miguda, we are seeing young people consistently going to the street, and part of what they are the reasons why they're going to street is, they're demanding for justice, they're demanding for accountability, they're demanding for good governance, they're demanding for a government or a leadership that would then listen to them. And my question to you tonight, Mr. Miguda, do you think the young people are going to get a point where all these things that they're requesting for or they're yearning for, they're going to get it? Do you think the environment is safe for them to an extent that they can express their views until they be heard? Because up to this point we are seeing a situation where the leaders are not willing to listen to the young people. And which tactic would they then use to ensure that they are listened to? Mr. Migude, you can give us your take on that before uh, before I ask you another question. I mean, something else that I wanted to ask you is, why is it that the demonstrators, people are coming out, they are being viewed as people who have been paid by Rigathi Gachagua as the opposition leader? Why is it that they're not accepting the fact that people are coming out genuinely? And what does this tell you about Rigathi Gachagua? Is it that he has made a name to an extent that he's then feared by the government? What is happening?
The young people are demanding for many things. They're also demanding for Kasongo must go. We have failed to cite that one. But what I can just tell you is that what we are seeing as the people, the change, people want the change, but the change can't be static. It's going to be gradual. And when it's going to be gradual, I think one day in life, we are going to make some baby steps and make some reforms to the country, which is important and urgent. It must be made. We must make any step. But we can't live this way. We can't continue this way. We must make reforms. That is why it's very important for people to agitate for their rights. And we fully support that one. And do not worry about what will happen tomorrow. I think that is tomorrow's problem. Right now, we are dealing with underlying issues, whether they are going to be concluded conclusively or not. That is a question of tomorrow. Tomorrow has its own day. Tomorrow will happen when it comes. So we can't stress ourselves for what will happen tomorrow. We are focused on what is right now, or what Kenyan people are doing. The demonstration to me, from where I am, or from the intel I'm receiving, so far, if at all these people are being paid, I've not come to any contact with any person who is being paid. And if it is true that people are being paid, then there are few people. Because I've never come across, maybe there are few people, those commercial activists. Maybe the commercial activists are being paid. But that group of people, I don't think they are being paid. Because even if they're being paid, you are on the demonstration, were you paid? I've received quite a lot of intels. I just saying, tomorrow we are going, tomorrow we are going. Then if you ask them why, they'll reply to you, where auoni vile maisha ni ngumu. So I don't know if they are being paid through maisha ni ngumu. So I can just report to you that I'm yet to find out. And once I find out that people are being paid, I'll report to you that actually people are being paid. And we will also call people to go out, to go where people are being paid so that everybody should be paid. We don't want that some people are being paid and some people are not being paid. If they are being paid, then they should pay everybody. If that money is somewhere whereby people are going, they are being paid to go for demonstration, I'm appealing to that person who is paying people, kindly extend. Even you can get contact with Obura so that you can use Obura to pay other people to come out. Because people want money, there's no money. If they are paying people to go for demonstration, why can't they pay people to go for the demonstration? But if they are not paying people, if there is someone who's paying people actually, let him pay people. And let him pay people good money, if that is the case. But so far, I've never come into any contact to anyone who is being paid, or anyone who is paying people. And if there's anyone paying people, and you are very sure, kindly report to us so that we can go and find him where he's paying people. Because people want money, and you cannot deny money. But I think that why people are coming out is because of the pressing issues. People are fed up. Actually, sometimes you need to visit even ghettos. You need to go to these slums and even have some 3 days. You understand that si kuzuri hapa nje. We should even go to Ushago. I've been telling you people, sometimes try to go to Ushago. I used to go to Ushago and try to even to be there for a week. There's no circulation of money. There's no money at home. People are just living by the grace of God, and they have made it to be normal that we should live this way. They're just doing their farming. There's no money. There's no good food. They're just there that we are living because they don't pay rents, they don't pay transportation, they don't pay electricity, they don't pay water. Now they are just okay. They have made it okay. And leave alone that one. Just also engage young people who have spouses. The young people who have spouses are really suffering because they can't put food on the table. Some people have divorced at early age. Some people they just marry like some people have married like 3 years ago. Currently they are part ways. Many young people of my age have divorced. Quite a number of them because they can't sustain family. They're not living single. We have single mothers who are very young who was once married. So to me, I believe that people are really suffering. I don't know why can people understand. I don't know where I'm living, but me, I interact with people. I find it out that majority of the people are suffering. That's the reality. There's an urgent, there's an alarming that people are not living the standard of life which people should be living. And even when it comes to the issue of payment, but those who are just working, they're being paid less money. Like someone is working for the entire month, is being paid 6Ks. Imagine 6Ks. Those ladies who are and men are working on M-Pesa shops, they're being paid 6Ks. Some are being paid 4Ks. So 4K, you want to sustain 4K for the whole month. I can just tell you, my brother, that I believe that people, the cost of living is on the people. That's why people are coming out the most. You know that people are being paid. I don't think people are being paid. Maybe the commercial activists, but not the majority of the demonstrators.
Okay, thank you so much, Meguda. Maybe one question before on the matter of Gashago. Before I get to another topic, is what do you think is the role of Gachagua in everything that is currently happening in the country? Because we are seeing a situation where all the people who are in government, the side of government are speaking about him. And I think he's coming out to be a politician who is strong enough that can, shake this government. What do you have to say about him, coming from nowhere? Remember, he's never been into the political limelight for quite some time. We just get to know of him when he was appointed as the running mate of William Samoei Ruto. And then within no time, there are issues. But within the period he was serving as the deputy president, he came up with so many languages that people really viewed as not good. He was seen as not, having the leadership qualities that would then help the country. He was viewed as, a politician who is representing a certain region and, the bad things. And then all of a sudden, he was then sent home via impeachment. But we are seeing him coming back as a force to be reckoned with, as a very strong force that almost everyone is speaking about, forgetting the fact that he had spoken about some negative things, he had some negative stance, he had spoken about, those things that people would not really want. But currently, he is the darling of the people. Do you think he's genuine, Mr. Miguda?
I believe that he's a politician, and that's the nature of politicians in the country, because William Ruto abused Raila all sorts of names. Today they're working together. Raila's foot soldiers abuse William Ruto all sorts of names. Today they're working together. There's nothing wrong, because to me, the nature of politics, because you are fighting, you have to use whatever you want to use to get to power. Now, there are pathways. You can't crucify him of his past alone. If he's a matter of being crucifying, let us crucify everybody, because even Raila and Uhuru, before they came together, they call each other names. So I don't think that is, we should just select that Gachagua is a sinner among all politicians. All of them are sinners. And at one point in life, they have used the same languages, the same words the Gachagua used to abuse each other. And that is no justification that now, because someone never liked you before, you can't work with him. This is politics. Everybody have used those languages before. You understand? Even Karua used those words. Today they are together. Karua and Gachagua were abusing each other. Today they're in the same camp. Like I've told you, it's converging and diverging, which is happening in the politics. So I don't take that one. Anybody want to crucify somebody because of the past? Let us crucify everybody here now. Let us start with Matiang. Let us start with Matiang. We crucify him. Let us also start with William Ruto and crucify him, because William Ruto called Raila all sorts of names. Number two, kabisa. So that is politics, and we should treat it as politics to everybody, not that one person. But there is the reason why I can say that Gachagua is having a field day is because these people, they are giving him airtime. They are creating him. They are making him popular because they are giving him attention. They address him. They respond to him. They threaten to arrest him. He's getting publicity for free. Now he's having a field day. You know the way he's attacking Ruto directly, because he knows very well that they cannot do anything to him. And I think that they have just made him one of the politicians of the time, because he's being discussed across the country. He's having a political party, a party leader. He's controlling certain people, having followers. I think they have made him who he is today, because if they could have ignored him, he could have not reached where he is. If they could have not impeached him, he could have not reached where he is. So I think he has been made, and they're continuing making him, and that's how some people are being made. Some people are just being made. People will seek sympathy card. You understand what happened previously when people are saying that Uhuru Kenyatta is accepting William Ruto. Now we are going to vote for William Ruto to punish Uhuru Kenyatta. We are going to vote for William Ruto to punish Raila Odinga. But today Raila and Ruto are together. You see these things. Even you don't be surprised. That's why me, I'm just happy. Some people are just calling you at it. No, Gachagua, Akwende, Gachagua position. What if Gachagua work with Ruto tomorrow? They can work together. It's the responsibility of them coming together. They have worked before, remember? they have worked before. They can work in future. It's just a matter of relationship. You have your ex. There's possibility that you can get along with your ex in the future, or your wife. You have divorced your spouse. There's likely that you can work forward. So if you have the problem has always been these people at one point in life they have been together. They have been together. It's just like a family. You have been together at one point in life. There's possibility of you working together going forward. That's why we cannot outrule that Gachagua is permanent enemy of William Ruto, or Gachagua is permanent enemy of Raila. None other than Gachagua, when Raila lost AUC, he was calling Raila, come, we give you presidency. And it's the Gachagua who said that, huyu mzee hawezi panda mlima, because interest. Ruto was not able to work with Raila. In fact, they were opponents, but they are currently they work together because they have worked together before as Pentagon. They were in Pentagons. Gachagua was with the in Kenya Kwanza. They can work in future. So that's why when you have an opponent, you should be very careful and cautious how you attack the opponent, because likely you can work going forward because you have been there before. You have each other loyalty at one point in life. That's why those who are taking it personal, you are going to be suffering in future, because you have decided to take it personal that Mr. Gachagua wewe ni mtu wa kabila, anatusi Raila, anatusi Ruto. Lakini Raila na Gachagua wanapigana simu usiku. So this politics, you should understand that that's context, that at one point these people are buddies. They can work together. That's why even if Gachagua is now being castigated, Wamunyoro, Mr. Dorcas, but they can work with him. It's very possible.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you so much, Meguda, for giving us your take. To our viewers, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. If you're watching us for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us, na hapa sisi tutasema ni asante. Mr. Miguda, if you've ever seen the politics of Raila Amolo Odinga, he's been on the opposition side for quite a number of years, and he's always been known as the father of opposition, to an extent that when people speak about opposition, you know, the name that comes into our mind is one Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga has enjoyed too much power on the opposition side to an extent that he has the capability of calling for a holiday. And, you know, people would then, you know, have the holiday. We've seen quite a number of times when he called for holiday and people would, you know, not go for job. And, you know, he has enjoyed the support of the people. My question to you is, with the consistency of the urge of change in governance being brought by the Gen Zs or the young people, do you think Gachagua would get to a point of he'll be enjoying the kind of support that Raila has always enjoyed here in Kenya? Do you think Gachagua can get to a point where he'll have the muscle to, you know, even call for demonstration and people would turn out for demonstration? Do you think he'll have the capacity, for example, to, you know, to tell the people that tomorrow we are going for demonstration, people should not go to work? We've seen similar things when Raila Amolo Odinga does. My question to you, Mr. Migura, is what is your take on that? And then, with the rising of young people, the Gen Zs, the youths, do you think they're going to get to a point of changing the thinking and the mentality of the political class, in the sense that the leaders will not feel that they have too much power to, you know, that they will be exercising, you know, without respecting what the constitution guarantees? Miguda.
The issue of Raila, first, let me begin by telling you that each and every thing has its time and seasons. That says the Bible. There's a time and a season for everything. The Raila you are quoting, that was that season, that was that time. It has been overtaken by events. Right now, Raila is very much contented in government. He can't do those things he was doing at that time, because right now, you got no that interest to fight for the people. So I believe that he has had his time, he has had his season, and it is good. A good dancer know when to leave the stage at some point in life. You can't dance the whole time. You can't dance the entire life. You at one point you must decide to do something else. I think Raila has reached that point, and because of the experience and age, he might know something that I don't know. Maybe at that age, he might decide to do what he has done. Unlike me, who is still young and still have many things to do, I might still want to do other things. So I think Raila's tumwache tu pali yako, akae tu hapo. Let him just be where he is. He has done, we have seen, and let him be where he is. The issue of Gachagua, I don't expect him to be like Raila. I don't expect him to behave like Raila. We don't want him to copy paste. Let him just be original and be self-made. Let him have another style and another attempt. Because that one of Raila, actually, Raila has never been declared the president. So maybe if you try to follow that one, it might never be declared again. Therefore, we need to just be strategic and have new ways of maneuvering this political field, and let him not rely too much on the past tactics. Let him be creative. Let him hire very good advisors that surrounds him, who is trying to make it look like a 21st century thing. Let it be look like a thing of the day. Let him have his own chart. And even when he's coming to be a position leader, let him have a different style. We can't have the same style for until when? We need to be transforming as a country. The Gen Z, there's a problem with the Gen Z, because right now there's that unity. But as times goes, we are going to be split. Now those people are going to join the Kumi Bila break, the so-called 2 terms. Those people are going to join 1 term. And those people who are going to be undecided. And those people are going to join the 3rd force. So at that point, I think we are not going to go to ballot when we are united as the young people. Because as I'm speaking to you right now, there are Gen Zs who are already campaigning to the MPs, and they are affiliate to political parties like ODM, UDA, Wiper, DCP. So they have started to make their ways to politics with the other political parties. That's why I believe that the Gen Z will not call the shot until the 2027. But along the way, we are going to be split. Along the way, some of us are going to be hired to be the goons of these politicians. They are going to be goons in political rallies, because the Gen Z are the people who are having energy, they have passion, they are very cheap to hire in terms of hiring them. You can even hire 20 of them at a lower cost to guard for you a vehicle, to guard you, to disrupt your opponent. So they will be split. Some will go with Kumi Bila break, some will go with 1 term, some will go with 3rd force, some will go undecided, and actually some also will never turn out to vote. Because you understand, the previous election, most of us never voted. And right now I was seeing ladies are trying to say that next time I will not sleep. I must vote because I made a mistake. I never voted. That's why I'm suffering. So we appeal to them to come out and vote. And also we appeal to those young people who are not yet registered to go and be registered as the voters. And the people who don't have ID cards. No ID cards affect even the millennials and even the Gen X. They don't have ID cards. They should take those ID cards and they should be registered. And they should ensure that that day they wake up very early in the morning at the ballot and transform the country from MCA to Mr. President. But this issue of Gen Z going to sing one unison until the last moment, to me, is not to be very honest. Along the way, we must be split. There are those who are going to be affiliated with their regions, with their leaders, with the direction from other people. But there are those people also we are going to fight until the last minute. So the issue of Gen Z currently, we can't be sure. is not a sure bet consequence that you can vest on, because even previously, if you even look at the interviews currently the agencies are doing on the Citizen, the mainstream media, there are those who are youth for Ruto, there are those who are for demonstration, there are those who are pro ODM. You understand? Things are unfolding. And going forward, we should ensure that we allow them to have that political right to associate with anybody they feel like they can associate with. Let us not deny them. Because if ODM is good for you, well and good, go and join ODM. If this is good for you, well and good, go and. You should not decide and select for people's friends and associates. Allow people to make their own friends, their own associates, and do not make for people that you must be a friend of William Ruto, you must be a friend of Raila Odinga, you must be a friend of Rigathi Gachagua. If you are not with so and so, we are killing you. If you're not with so and so, we are abducting you. No, let's be a free society whereby I can work with even Martha Karua. I can even work with the Pasaris. Pasaris is going for is not going to be re-elected. Anyway, let us allow people to exercise their democratic right peacefully without any interference, political association, the way they want to move. But let us not, even the so-called Gen Z, let us not force them that the Gen Z constituents must vote for Matiang'i. There are those Gen Z constituents who have issues with Matiang'i. Let us not force the Gen Z constituents must vote for Ruto. There are those Gen Z constituents who are having issues with Ruto. Let them also have their right to air their view. That's why I was telling you, when it comes to the establishment of the government, allow the young people also to participate. Allow them to be the commissioners of the IBC. Allow them to be the ambassadors. Appoint them to be the high commissioners. Appoint them to the AG of the country. Appoint them to the CS, the PS. Allow them to be the head of parastatals. Engage them in the governance. They should be engaged. This issue of using them as a tool, as a goon, then as a voter, then you dump them. That's what is creating hunger. And I'm appealing to young people. Those people are going to be goons. You should not be used as a goon. They should give you something that is decent. They should employ you, or they should educate you. They should ensure that you live a good life, not that they are giving you like a 528 shillings na ya kutoa, alafu wanakuambia sasa ende upike mwenzako. Hapana, you should stop those things and let them solve their issues with their opponent at their level. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Allow me to remind our viewers that this is Brother Benson Media, and here we say that your opinion counts. And for that reason, I want to tell our good friend Pigra that here your opinion counts. So don't criticize the opinion of your brother or your sister at the comment section. Naona leo umekuja ukiwa moto. Pigra, ni nini? We are a family. Acha kukua mkali ama kukua vipi? Yeah, so Migura, there's something else that I want you to give your opinion on before, we call it, before we come to the end. And it's, of course, the issue of the youths. The youths of the youths of Kenya, they are at a point where, they have this urge of wanting to get into government, get into different positions. They want to be acknowledged, but there is no position currently for them. My question to you is, just like the way it has been said, they're leaderless, partyless, and all those things. What is your take? Because currently we have the president, William Samoei Ruto, with his team in the government side, and we have the opposition side. We have Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, among others. And the truth of the matter is, if we are going for election, then it would be the president against the opposition. With the number of opposition, I'm seeing quite a number of leaders. Some of them were thrown out of the government of William Samoei Ruto. Some of them were, lost elections and they've come together. What do you think? For example, should the opposition then pick the government? What we will witness, witness what we call that, I mean, leaders being given position, of course, leaders that we already know, some of them served in the other government, some of them were defeated. And my question to you is, where how my youth watapata nafasi wapi? Because if you see the lineup of the opposition, all the politicians, wale walishindwa, they are no youths. They are the people who are going to be given the position of CS, all those big positions. My question to you tonight is, do you think the youth still has, what it takes to be recognized in this government? Because me, the way I'm seeing it differently. I don't think they're going to be given any seat, because the people who are working, you saw the other day, they were in Narok. All of those people are people who have been in politics. Na wanatembea wakisema ya kwamba wataungana na mayouths. Where watapewa which positions? What is your take on that?
First, let me tell you one thing, Makubura. Youthman ana nafasi hapa Kenya. Sasa youthman lazima tokeleze, na tunasemanga katika mtaa ya kwamba unafaa ujitume. Usipojituma utatumwa, na usipotumwa utatumika na utaachwa hapo. So kila youthman lazima ajitokeze tu na ajipigania haki yake na pia ajitume. Lakini cha muhimu ni ya kwamba sisi kama vijana ama au wapinzani wanafaa kukubaliana ya kwamba si lazima wao wakuwe rais ama naibu wa rais, na si lazima wao waunde serikali. Wanafaa kupatia hao wananchi nafasi, na kama kuna yule kiongozi ambaye amekubaliwa na hao wananchi ya kwamba sisi kama vijana tunakubali huyu kiongozi, ama tunaona kwamba mkitupatia huyu kiongozi tutampigia kura kwa fujo, watupatie huyu kiongozi, wamwe kama rais na watupatie naibu wa rais, alafu wao wakae tu nyuma na wamunge mkono na tubadilishe Kenya. Hii mambo ya kwamba ati lazima kuwe tu mtu fulani, mimi siko katika hiyo sarakasi. Mimi nasema tu kama vijana na kama wao viongozi wa upinzani, mkae tu watu wazuri, mnapenda nchi yenu. Kama mnapenda nchi yenu, fanyeni hivi, nyinyi wote mwache hiki kitu. Acha Matiang'i angoje, Gachagua angoje, Eugene angoje, Kalonzo angoje, Martha angoje, hao wase wote wangoje, wapatie mayouths huyu jamaa ambao wanataka. Wakishamweka hapo kwa front na wampatie naibu wa rais, na huyu naibu wa rais akwe tu youthman ama akwe millennial. Alafu waseme sisi tumeachia hao wase mtawale, chukueni Kenya, peleke Kenya mbele. Hapo naenda kubaliana nao. Lakini kama wamekuja ati wao wanataka kuunda wizara ya serikali ambao wao ndio wanakuwa ma CS, really? Hapo tumechezwa kama youthman. Sasa sisi tuseme tu hivi, kama wanapenda nchi yao, kila msee aseme tu sisi tunapenda nchi, tuachie vijana watawale. Wakati wetu imekwisha, tulikuwa na wakati wetu lakini hatukutumia vizuri. Sasa tuachie vijana pia wachukue nchi yao wapeleke. Nchi si yao peke yao, nchi ni yetu sisi sote, ni ya youthman na ni ya wazee. Sasa wazee, wakati imefika, achini youthman wachukue utawala na uone vile watakimiza hii serikali, na wanataka mabadiliko sana. Sasa mimi ningependa tu kuomba hao watu wako hapo katika upinzani, tafadhali, umeshakubali mko na maarufu, mko na pesa na mko na wafuasi, mkipenda nchi yenu na mtaka nchi yenu ikuwe na mabadiliko, tafadhali chukueni jamaa, muunge mkono, tuunde serikali. That's my advice to the opposition, Makubura.
Migura, as a youth, and remember the youths are the majority currently, we are seeing them walking here and there saying that they want power, they want to be acknowledged. Do you think as a youth wewe mko na nafasi, do you think mko na nafasi ya kutoa president? Do you think the youth has what it takes? Allow me to acknowledge the presence of Anthony Lilingu at the comment section. Thank you so much. Pigra, the comment section. Thank you so much. Gypsy Corner. Thank you so much. Father Didi, asante sana. I also saw Laban Misiani at the comment section. Thank you so much, Laban, for giving us your take. I'd also seen Thomas Edward at the comment section. And if you're watching us for the first time, kindly just engage us at the comment section, give us your take and what you think about our country. And we request you again, just like and subscribe. It is a way of supporting us and we'll really appreciate. Miguda, what is your take? Mko na nafasi? Do you think you can produce the youth of the Republic of Kenya with the, you know, with the anxiety that they have, and with all this demonstration that they are doing in across the country? Do you think they have what it takes to have, from the president to the ministers and all those things, and can they manage to run a country?
Tuko na uwezo kama vijana na pia tuko na nafasi kama vijana, na tunajua kwamba sisi kama vijana ndio tuko wengi. 70% ya wapiga kura ni vijana. Sasa vijana wakiungana tu na wakubaliana kwamba mambo ya ukabila tuachie wazee, mambo ya wewe ni fulani, wewe ni fulani, tuachie wazee. Sisi kama vijana tunataka kubadilisha Kenya. Nadhani wako nafasi na wako na uwezo. Sasa hatuwezi fanya peke yetu, pia lazima tujumuisha hao wazee katika hii sarakasi ya kuna serikali. Sasa tufanye hii kama youth, sisi tukubaliane ya kwamba tuko na uwezo na tuko na kura. Sasa ni tu vile lazima pia tupate yule kiongozi ambaye amekubalika katika nchi nzima. Unaweza pata mtu, kwa mfano, mambo ya ukabila bado inatuumiza hapa. Mtu anaweza toka maybe kama Matiang'i, na Matiang'i pengine kuna wale vijana ambaye aliwatesa wakati alikuwa waziri wa usalama. Sasa ndio nasema tupate tu mtu mmoja, tuko wengi, sisi ni 70%, na pia tuko na nguvu, tuko na uwezo, tuko na nia ya kubadilisha nchi. Sasa tukishaunda hii serikali, nafasi wapatie vijana, waziri wapatie vijana, na hizo nafasi nyingine pia wanafaa wapatie vijana, ili vijana pia wajisikia kwamba wako Kenya ni nchi yao. Sasa nipaswa kusema hawa viongozi wenye wako opposition wakubali tu ya kwamba ingawa pia wao wako na mawazo mazuri, lakini pia wakati imefika, wakati ni sasa, na kama vijana tunafaa kuchukua serikali. Tusipochukua serikali saa hii, then kama tutaichukua tena. Sasa lazima tukubaliane ya kwamba tuchague kiongozi mmoja ambaye anaweza kubalika katika eneo la nchi, na huyo kiongozi ambaye ako na fikra tofauti na Orezo, na kuna fikra tofauti na hao wenye kupinzani. Hapo naona kama tunakomboa Kenya makubura.
Okay, thank you. Pigra, thank you so much. I've seen your message as well. I've seen your comment. I hope you let us know the day and time that you'd want us to have that conversation. We really appreciate for everyone who is at the comment section, everyone who is engaging us. We really appreciate. And then Miguda, naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua, aliyekuwa naibu rais, anasema kumekuwa na njama ya kumkataa na kumekuwa na njama ya kumkamata na kumzuilia kusafiri nchi ya nje. Unakumbuka some days ago alisema ya kwamba atakuwa anachukua ka break na anaenda anazuru nchi zingine huko. Basi ni kama anasema kuna njama za there are some ways of stopping him. What do you have to say about this? And remember, the DCI boss did mention something that so far they do not have anything that they can attach to him for his arrest. What is your take on that?
Kwa maoni yangu, mimi nafikiria kwamba hawatamshika, wanajaribu tu kumshtua na wanajaribu kumuzia uoga kwamba watamshika, watamzuia kusafiri kwenda ng'ambo, lakini hizo ni tu siasa za kawaida. Unaelewa kwamba yeye ni moja ya wale wako katika upinzani, na lazima serikali pia wajaribu na mbinu yote kuhakikisha kwamba wameuzia watu woga. Hiyo ni kawaida yao, wanauzia watu woga. Lakini sisi tunasema sisi ni maskini, hatuna pesa ya kununua woga. Sasa sidhani kama watamshika. Hizo ni tu siasa za kawaida. Alafu pia yeye alishatangaza wazi ya kwamba atasafiri kwenda ng'ambo ili akae kwa siku karibu na miezi miwili. Sasa hatazuiliwa, hatasafiri. Sidhani kama kuna mtu yote ambaye anaweza mzuia kusafiri. Yeye atasafiri vizuri na atarejea Kenya, na vile vile hata kama hatashikwa.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to welcome our good friend, Brother Ben. Here is with us at the studio, and I want to nataka nimkaribishe na nimwambie ya kwamba we've had quite a good conversation here, and I want to let you know that our good friend Pigra at the comment section has agreed ya kwamba atatafuta nafasi ya kuja ajiunge na sisi pia tueleze maoni zake, na tena Father Didi pia alisema atapata nafasi atajiunga na sisi ya kuja pia tupee maoni yake. We've had quite a number of conversation, of course, starting from the issue of tribe that is being brought forth by the political class as we are going or heading towards general election. We've tried to look at the role of the youths, especially in matters of politics, and whether they have the numbers to take the presidency and all this other, position, and what role are they going to play now that we have the opposition that is led by Kalonzo and Rigathi, and we have the side of the government led by the president. Currently, the people who are doing campaigns or going for campaigns are people that we've seen in the political limelight. And the question I was asking Miguda is, where is the role of youths in this? We are not seeing youths coming out. Should, for example, the opposition side take the government in the next election, we are going to see the same faces that we've seen. Some of them were sent away from the government of William Samoei Ruto. Those are the people that we'll see holding the position of cabinet secretaries. And the question is, what then are the youths going to get? Yeah, so those are part of what we've discussed. Maybe you can give us your take as well.
Unajua wakati tumefika, wacha kwanza kabisa nisalimie watu wote ambao wako katika pale ambao wanapeperusha ujumbe pale kando. Naona Gypsy Corner, naona Father. Actually kuna siku tushaikuwa na mjadala na Father, ilikuwa pule kwa Mzalendo na on a Friday, inakuja Saturday morning ama kama Sunday morning, one of the days nilikuwa na tulikuwa na mazungumzo mazuri sana ambao wale ambao walipata bahati kutusikiliza walitoka na jambo. Unajua ukiangalia vijana nadhani pale ambapo tumefika ama pale ambapo mavijana wamepika, inabidi hao wenyewe wachukue nafasi hizo, kwa sababu mimi siamini kwamba kuna siku mtu atakuja kukupatia nafasi. Na hiyo kauli mimi naiona kwamba imetokelea sawasawa. Ukiangalia venye Rigathi Gachagua ameamua kutengeneza himaya yake na kutengeneza siasa yake, ingawaje watu wanampiga kwa sababu siasa ni kupigana, watu wanampiga na watu nasema hayo mambo, lakini hajawahi kata tamaa kutafuta ile akuwe mmojawapo kwa wale watu ambao wanazungumziwa sana katika siasa za Kenya. Na unapata kwamba anapatiana wapinzani wake shida sana, kwa sababu unapata wengi maono na hata yale tuseme kwamba wakikaa bungeni wapi, unapata kama wanazungumzia juu ya huyu bwana. Inamaanisha kuwa huyu bwana kuna jambo ambayo anatenda, kwa sababu mimi naamini katika hii dunia usipozungumziwa basi wewe hauna jambo. Unazungumziwa vibaya ama vizuri, bora tu unazungumziwa, inamaanisha kwamba kuna jambo ambalo labda unatenda inaonekana ama ni ya kibaya ama ni kizuri. So kizuri nasema nikana kwamba kitu ambacho Rigathi anasema ni kizuri. La pili pia unasema sasa mavijana, ni lazima hao wenyewe pia wapiganie hizo vyeo. Kwa sababu ukiangalia ukiangalia inasemekana kwamba iko na idadi ya watu wengi, inamaanisha kuwa au pia wako na swala sana sana, wako na mambo ambayo inaweza badilisha uongozi wa hii nchi, lakini lazima wajihusishe na mambo ya siasa. Na wanajihusisha aje? Jambo la kwanza, lazima wajiandikishe kama wapiga kura. Jambo la pili, wale ambao umri wao imewakubali kuwania nyadhifa mbalimbali, lazima waende wang'ang'anie hizo nyadhifa, ndio wale wenzao wawapiganie. Kwa sababu mimi naamini kwamba hao maviongozi, hakuna mtu mwenye atakuwa anasema kwamba wewe ni Gen Z sasa kuja hapo ukuwe rais. Hapana, kwa sababu wanajua utamu wa rais ama utamu kukua na katika ukuu kwa mamlaka. Ukiwa katika mamlaka hayo unapata kila kitu unapata. So uwezi kuwa hiyo nafasi kuachia mtu. Akoni ulete kijana kwa sababu wewe ni Gen Z ukuje umweke pale umwambie wewe sasa kuwa rais kwa sababu ni Gen Z. Hapana. Hao wenyewe mavijana lazima wapiganie haki yao kisiasa, nafasi yao kisiasa, wala kimaarifa, na lazima wahakikishe kuwa wakati siasa inazungumziwa, lazima either opposition or government lazima wakue kwa meza, wasikue tu watu wa kupiga tu kelele tu. Sasa lazima wasimame imara. Lazima wasimame imara. Unaona haya? So hawa vijana wazima lazima wapiganie haki yao. Mimi ndio hiyo jambo ambalo naweza sema kwa vijana. Naona Ismail anasema please Baba is a freedom fighter and kuchangua tribal politics. Hakuna mtu
amekataa. I think anasema Gachagua is a tribalist or something.
Is it Gachagua?
I think so.
Oh, Baba is a tribal. Baba is a tribal. Baba is a freedom fighter, and yeah, unajua kitu ambacho sasa unapata kwamba wengi, hata watoto ambao ama vijana ambao wengi wanakuwa, unajua Baba ilikuwa ni kama picha, kuna ile dhana ambayo labda yeye aliweka katika msingi wa siasa, ni kwamba alikuwa ni mtu ambaye anatetea sana wananchi, na hao ndio watu walikuwa wanampenda. Na kwa sababu unapata mara mingi unapata kwamba kama watu wanaona kwamba vitu haziendi vizuri, unapata kwamba wanasema na Baba naye anasema nini, kwa sababu ile msingi ambayo yeye mwenyewe alijijengea yeye mwenyewe kwamba yeye lazima piganie wananchi na wapiganie wananchi wote. Ingawaje katika siasa zake pia kumekuwa pale ambapo hajapendwa, lakini hajafanya hivyo. Unaona? So na pia siasa zetu lazima tukubali kwamba siasa zetu ni siasa za ukabila. Unajua hatujafika mahali ambao sawa, hiyo ndo naweza sema.
Okay, thank you so much for your take. And maybe Miguda, the president had gone to UK, and there's quite a number of things that he'd gone to do. And there's a lecturer, US lecturer, who had requested, it was on news that he had written to UK that they should not accept or listen to our president William Samoei Ruto. What is your take on that? And maybe you can also tell us what might have taken him to UK. We saw him met the Prime Minister of UK, and we saw them signing quite a number of things. Maybe your take on that?
I don't know what has taken him to UK, but I understand he's the head of state and he's the ambassador of the Kenya. So he can go for the state functions in UK, and as well he can go to preside over the Kenyan state with the so-called bilateral relationship between the UK. First, before he went to UK, he was in Spain. I think he was in Spain I knew that he was going to Spain, but the issue of UK, I'm just receiving it right now. I never knew that one. I think one of the function of him, like I was told, that he's head of state, and when it comes to matters of state versus state, he's the person who is authoritatively has that mandate to preside over Kenyan people. So that was one of his functions, and I want to leave it at that point. No politics. Is the president when it comes to matters of Kenyans and other state. We cannot take Indiki. We cannot take Raila. We cannot take John Badi. We cannot take Pauline Njoroge. He's a person we can take. So that was his duty.
A good friend Gypsy is reminding me here that before he went to UK, he had also met the president of France, President Macron, and they also had, a meeting. Good, there's one thing that I'd then want your view before now we end the show is consistency. We are seeing we saw quite a number of I think two members of DCP party were they were arrested, and of course the call that has been there on the youth's mouth is that we do not want people who are having different opinion to be arrested and all those kind of things. And if you went to social media, there were calls of free the gentleman and the lady who was arrested, and they are members of DCP. That is a party that is, of course, run by the former deputy president. And of course, today you saw the deputy president also said that, that Mount Kenya is isolated. And in his own words, he's saying that he cannot be threatened. That is the one who took the president to the Mount Kenya region and gave him 4 million. And in his own words, he's saying that let the president not be lied to by Kimani Ichung'wah, that is the one who brought him over there. And Rigathi is saying that he has taken control of the Mount Kenya region, and this is going to mobilize 8 million votes to send Mr. President home. This is happening at a point where some members of his party are also being arrested. What is your take about the consistent arrest, and especially for people having divergent opinion on matters of political stance?
Those things are normal in politics. If you join politics, you must be ready for such things like arrest, going to detention, death, going to exile, because that is politics. You understand? There's a lot of interest, opponent using criminal justice system. They're being frustrated, they're being intimidated so that they can slow the speed or they can abandon their quest. So to me, it's politics, and that's the nature of the culture of politics of the country. Even them, when they were in the government, they were frustrating their opponents. So it's normal thing. So frustration, intimidations. If you don't want to be frustrated or intimidated, you can go to do other things. There are many things you can do, but if you join politics, you must understand that politics, there must be a way whereby opponents tend to deal with their opponents. Some people prefer to frustrate their opponents. Some people prefer to intimidate their opponents. Some people prefer maybe to ignore their opponents. Some people prefer to. So to me, they are trying to frustrate and intimidate the youngest kid in town, the DCP. And the kid is strong. It's moving on. They are not going to stand those stress and intimidations and frustration, because people have been frustrated before. People have been threatened before. It's not going to stop. In fact, going forward, we are going to face a lot of things in this country. Some people will even be tear gas in a political rally. If you try to assemble peacefully, you will not continue the rally. They will tear gas you and until they will ensure that you don't communicate to your audience. There are many things that are going to happen. You understand? Power attracts, and power attracts all sorts of characters. That's why such things do happen to their opponents. So they should just ensure that the people who have been arrested should be arraigned in court with limited power so that they can take a plea and they can be acquitted based on what they were arrested, because it's just politics. I don't think they were committed any crime. And also the DCP party leader will keep on going forward because just like another person, he has also a right to have a political party, he has a right to communicate to people, he has a right to contest, to respond. And the issue of 4 million of Mount Kenya, him giving Ruto, I think that's not their level. They know best. But I know that Gachagua was an asset. Gachagua was an asset to Ruto compared to Ishungwa. Ishungwa's liability, Indiki's liability. Gachagua was such an asset that as a political animal, I cannot afford to lose, even at what cost. I could have retained Gachagua if I were the president of the Republic of Kenya, because Gachagua is an asset. He knows how to converse with the audience. He knows how to drive narrative with the people. He understands the language of the people of Mount Kenya. And even today, you say that wakili wote wa Kikuyu mkae tayari. He was resonating so well with them. You some people might say, okay, ni Mkabila, but to the nation, to his audience, they like what he's doing. So he's taking them. He's taking the people actually. He's going to get away with the people. He's going to be a force to reckon. And mostly, if I were Ruto, I could have not afford to lose such an asset in this political field. But anyway, even Ruto has his own political right and opinion. He can make the decision the way he wants. To him, maybe because he's an experienced person, he has been in politics for 35 years, he knows best why he had to abandon Gachagua and go for Raila. That one we will judge in 2027. For now, we can just say that as things stand right now, it was a blunder to lose such an asset in comparison to Ishungwa and Kindiki.
Okay, thank you. There's something that is trending about Babu Owino, and he's being, people are saying he's a master of all trades. We are seeing him trending on this other side as number one in terms of delivery among the members of parliament. The total number of, the total number of parliament members, he's number one in terms of delivery of services. We are also seeing him in the courts fighting for the people. We are also hearing about him, people are speaking about him, and is currently seen as one of the busiest leaders that we have in Kenya, that people are speaking about on a positive side. Today he was even sent away from the National Assembly, Parliament, when he had gone having the how is it called, the ties which are put on by the lawyers in the court. People are saying that he might be the next president in the coming days. He might be the governor in the coming days. He has what we call age on his side. We have what we call acceptance in almost all the regions. What is your take on this member of parliament, Honorable Babu Owino?
Okay, I just want to report to you. I'm not a sycophant to Babu Owino. I'm not a sycophant, but I just want to give you factual. Never underrate that young man. That young man, of course, is a jack of all trade, but that young man is gifted. He's gifted academically. He's gifted leadership. He's also gifted in many ways. But what I can just report to you today is that what I know, that provided is alive, he will be the governor of Nairobi. Provided he's alive, he will be the president of the Republic of Kenya. That one I can assure you. The only thing that can stop him being governor and president is only death. But provided he's alive, and let me tell you, the forthcoming election, let him declare his interest for Nairobi gubernatorial. If he will call press conference and declare, and I think he will be declared as the Nairobi governor. I don't. Sakaja is too. Even okay. I don't want to. You understand the way there's a conflict of interest in the Nairobi gubernatorial because the issue of Sakaja is being seen with Baba. The issue of Gakuya coming from Kikuyu. Now they're saying Babu can't get the Mount Kenya votes. Of course he can't get. Okay, there's no problem. They're saying Babu can't get Luo's vote. Babu can't get Kamba vote. In Luya's vote. But the question is, okay, he can't get Kikuyu's vote. Kikuyu votes can go with Gakuya, no problem. The Luya votes can go with Sakaja, no problem. The Luo votes can go with Sakaja, no problem. But what about the Kamba votes? What about the Kisii votes? So I can just assure you that let them just clear him to run for the gubernatorial seat in Nairobi. He will be the next one of Nairobi. And he's a young man that you have just mentioned, but I know him. I know him at personal level. I know him very well. I understand him. Provided that he's alive, he will be the president of the Republic of Kenya. That one, even you know. That one made you know. He will be the president of the Republic of Kenya. Not now, but he will be the president of the Republic of Kenya. That one, I can assure you. So he's still, because he has time, he has energy, he has passion, he's popular, and even the other personal issues, he just tried to make it. Because someone was, he has been the top 10, he has been the #1 performing MP, and he's even now a headache. You know, the party, you understand? The ODM are trying to throw him out of the party, but he's also ready to walk out. So I believe that what Brother Besra said, if people don't talk about you, you are dead. But if people talk about you negatively or positively, you are the G. I think Babu is the G. I'm not speaking in a point of psychophancy, because even me, I have my own reservations. But the facts are clear that nobody can defeat Babu in Nairobi when it comes to gubernatorial seat. That one I can assure you. And among his peers, when the right time comes for them to contest for the presidency, so far, the person who is coming close to him is Ndindi Nyoro among his peers. But most of them is at the top. Is the G of their time. I think for now, among his peers, among his time, is a man to watch.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much to our viewers. This is Brother Benson Media. And here we say your opinion counts. If you're watching for the first time, kindly just like and subscribe to the channel. It is a way of supporting us and we'll really appreciate. Mr. Miguta, teachers are pushing for pay rise. And the NAT gives a TSC a 7-day ultimatum over the CBA talks impulse. NAT says it has proposed salary allowances increase. Teachers want employer to give counter offer, a new collective bargaining agreement under the negotiation. And if that is not met according to them, they're going to call for demonstration in the entire country. And you know what that is going to affect the learning and everything in the schools. And remember our children are just going back to school. You can give us your comment on that, of course, remembering that there was quite a huge amount that was given to the education sector in this proposed the finance bill that just was brought forth. And the university placement was also done, and over 190,000 2024 KCSE students placed in various universities. Nursing attracting more than 50,000 applicants, but only 34,000 were placed. You can give us your take on that and why most people are opting for the nursing course, while there was quite a number of courses that really did not attract people. And what that means is it that they're looking for the most profitable or the most courses which are demanded out here. I mean, skills which are demanded out here. Can give us your take on those two?
Teachers should not strike because I am a victim of strike. I know strike affected us when we were in school. The people who have been given the offer by the NAT should counter offer the offer. They should accept and they should counter off immediately. We don't want to end up with the people striking because it affects the learners' calendar. It also affects the learners' time. That one should not happen. We still appeal to the people who have been given the mandate so that they can ensure they counter offer. Issue of the teachers, people preferring to do courses that are related to the medical and the nursing courses. Now people have overlapped. There are many people who have tried to apply for the KMTC in comparison to TVETs and the university and also other colleges. People right now tend to believe that. I think mostly they say that once you do any medical course, you are having high chances to be employed. That's why you find many people doing nursing, they are doing pharmacist, they are doing health record, they are doing theater, technology, they are doing all sorts of things. So I believe that when people are having that time, they are prepared to. And even me, my niece and my nephews are being told to go and do medical courses, and that's what they're doing right now. So I believe that things will change. But my worry is, what if we end up with many people in the future who have done medical courses? Who will do these humanities? Who will be doing these humanities? We should balance the society. We should allow them. We should not just all of us to go to medical courses. We should ensure that we do courses that are varying. Because right now, I was going through the CUSUPS application online. CUSUPS, when CUSUPS open, there are so many people who are doing these medical courses. They're going to KMTC. So my worry is, who will be teaching humanities? Who will be future lawyers? Who will be future actuaries? Who will be future engineers? Who will be future economists? Who will be future electrician? Where are we heading as a country? We need to balance society that we end up with a huge population of the citizens who are nurses. I think, but people are able to apply what they want to do. But we should balance. Back to you, Marco Bura. If you are there, are you there?
Okay, thank you. I think now we should end. Maybe we've taken quite a number of time. I want to acknowledge the presence of Gypsy Corner. The comment section, thank you so much, Gypsy Corner. Ismail Adam, thank you so much. Pigra, thank you so much for also engaging us at the comment section. We really appreciate. Anthony Lilingu, asante sana. And to everyone who also gave us their view, Father Didi, thank you so much. We really appreciate. There's a comment here from Gypsy Corner. Gypsy Corner here is saying, maybe they had a calling. I think that depends. That really depends because mostly, I think the most important thing that people are looking at today when they're going for these particular courses is whether the courses can help them secure job opportunities, because there's a high unemployment rate in Kenya. Most of it is caused by people who went and did some courses which are not really marketable, which are not helping or assisting them in whichever way. So they are going for nursing, I think, because that is what really attracted quite a number of students, and because it could be because uh, at least they will get some somewhere. There are so many patients in Kenya, so if you do a medical course, there is you might get maybe some work somewhere. That might be the reason. I'm not so sure, but there are so many reasons. Okay, Pigra is asking, let me know when father is coming to the studio. Okay, if he will we'll try reach out to him, and the information that he'll give, maybe we'll let you know. Pigra we kujanga tu kila siku, you'll get the information at the right time. Maybe if you reach out, I'll be able to give or to pass that message to you upon engaging him. Yes, I think we've taken quite a number of hours, and we really appreciate. Unless there's any question at the comment section, you can just bring the question. We can give our take before we call it a day. Meanwhile, we appreciate the fact that you took your time and joined us this evening. We appreciate the fact that Gypsy Corner, Pigra, and everyone, you engaged us at the comment section and gave us your take. And here we say that your opinion counts. For your opinion to count, you have to come out and speak it. You have to give your view. And the good thing is that we have a constitution that guarantees, a constitution that respects, a constitution that acknowledges the fact that people can have their own different views. If you have any question, we are still waiting here to. Okay, thank you so much. Gypsy Corner here is saying, I appreciate your time and piece of advice. Have a great evening. We also appreciate the fact that you took your time to listen to us. We don't take it for granted. We really appreciate. Thank you so much. Pigra is also here saying that thanks for your entertainment. Thank you so much, Pigra. You know, we cannot entertain. We only entertain when you're there. If you're not there, or if you don't join, we will not really have someone to entertain. So we really appreciate as well for just finding time to be with us and to give us your view. It was nice being with you guys. And I like the fact that Kenyans love their country. Kenyans want to be part and parcel of what is happening in their country. Kenyans are participating in so many ways. They're engaging, giving their views. And for the first time, we really appreciate the people of Kenya who are in other countries, the people who are abroad, coming out to, take their time, coming out to give their view. And they're also acknowledging that Kenya is still home, even though they are outside, even though they're doing other things in other countries, they still acknowledge that whether you go in whichever direction, home is still the best. And, we are seeing a very active generation. We are seeing a very active group of people, the diaspora group that they're coming out to call the issues which are wrong. They're calling out the government. They're fighting for the rights of others. They are fully participating in politics, giving advices to the people who are, who needs advices. They're also trying to compare and to pick good things which they're seeing in other countries and comparing it, or hoping that those good things would then be translated and then maybe followed or put in action over here in the country, I think that's a good move. That simply shows unity, it simply shows love for the country. We've seen shows running the whole night, and if you follow those shows, you'll find that most of them are not within the country. But just because of the love of the country, they participate in giving their views on, what the kind of country that they want. Miguda, I'll give you a chance to just, you can give us your last remarks and also appreciate the fact that we had quite a number of viewers who had given us their view. If you are there, Miguda.
Yeah, I want to also join you to appreciate our viewers actually, because we are here because they are there. Minus them, we can't be here. And it's good because you also keep us going, you keep us doing great over here. We must do a lot of research. We must also engage different parties. We must ensure that we give you real-time information as they happen on the ground. We don't want to make any mistakes because that is our uniqueness and our neutrality as a channel. So we wish you all the best, and we keep you updated and authentic information. That is why that's our brand actually. And thank you for always coming and for believing in us. And we appreciate you for the comments, because you keep us going, you keep us developing, you keep us having hope in life, you keep us also believe that at least we are not here, our presence here is not in vain. We are recognized by some people, and for the likes, for the sharing video. We love you, all of you, and also we expect that we have such meaningful discussion whereby we are at liberty and we incorporate each and every idea. That is why even the people who are coming to criticize us, though they should be objective, but we admit even the negative criticism, because we believe that it is your opinion. It is your opinion. It is fully protected. You can say it anyhow. You can speak anyhow without any threat or duress. I want also to appreciate our consistent supporters. Today I saw Pigra. Pigra, you should also come. You should come always. I saw Thomas. Thomas should come always, and Edan. I saw Edan, and our good friends like Jeff Sekona. I was present. I saw Judith Karita, Laban Misiani, the father was there, Brenda Obedi was there, and many other people who are behind the curtains. Some people are just present, but they never come to the conversation. See you next time. Bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you so much to our viewers. Once again, this is Brother Benson Media, and here we see that your opinion counts. If you're watching us for the first time, we request you to kindly like and subscribe to the channel. If you do so, it is a way of supporting us, and we'll really appreciate. And I also want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and to say a big thank you to Pigra at the comment section. Thank you so much for actively engaging us and giving us your view. To Gypsy Corner, I want to take this opportunity to appreciate as well and say a big thank you. We really appreciate the fact that you've always taken your time, engaged us, you've given us your view, and even for the support that you've consistently given to us, we really appreciate. We say a big thank you. Allow me to also acknowledge and to say a big thank you to Ismail Adan. Thank you so much, Ismail Adan, for also finding time to join us this evening and to give us your take. Anthony Lilingu, asante sana. Tunashukuru kwa maoni yako na mambo haya yote ambayo umetuandikia the comment section, we appreciate, thank you so much. And there was also Judith Karuitha, thank you so much. Father Didi, we acknowledge your presence. Laban Misiani, thank you. And thank you so much. There was also Thomas Edward. Thank you so much, Thomas, for your time. There was, I'd also seen someone else here. So Brenda Obedi, asante sana. For everyone who joined us, we appreciate. We thank you so much, and we pray that may God bless you for us. I'm taking this opportunity to now wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us. Thank you so much. See you again tomorrow.